You're literally on a boat shooting flares at fucking migrants, okay? Are you serious right now?
I have actively advocated publicly previously for your deplatforming, not allowing black immigration until the 70s.
At what point have I ever commented on the white Australia policy? At what point?
I'm just saying that, like,
that video about the white Australia policy or any of that. It wasn't. You brought that into here.
No, the reason why I'm bringing it up is because it's an essential part of Australian immigration.
What? That has nothing to do with whether the police told me not to be in a
Destiny, why have you...
Are you serious? We're dancing in the elevator? Come on.
You got a couple of beers?
Yeah, I'm working on them right now.
Hell yeah, dude.
I think I'm talking to your bestie on Monday, Destiny. Mr.
Nice.
Girl.
I think I'm talking to one of your besties soon. Ashton.
Ooh. What? On what? On what topic?
About whatever we're talking about, okay? We're real close now. Do you have a problem with that?
I mean, I just would really love to know what you guys are talking about. I'm concerned.
Looks like you'll have to tune in. Concerned about what?
Ashton is an innocent, lovely soul. I have no idea why the two of you would need to speak.
What's wrong with innocent? I love talking to innocent,
I don't dislike
lovely
you,
people.
but I feel like I just feel like
Lauren, you're literally on a boat shooting flares at fucking migrants, okay? Are you serious right now? Slow your fucking roll. Pump the brakes. Jesus fucking Christ, all right? I can talk to your fucking friends if I want to. Calm the fuck down. Okay? What are we talking about in here right now?
We're literally just doing the howdy haze. You just come in here with the fucking
I'm great.
spice.
I'm doing great today. How are you guys all doing today? We're all gonna get infected. Thank you, Lauren. That's your fault. Yeah. Your party's fault.
True.
That's happening. Omicron. Basically, at this point,
we need to be having Omicron parties. It's a gift. It is.
It felt like at one point, it felt like everybody knew somebody that had like a grandma or somebody that got the coronavirus, or everybody knew somebody that knew somebody that had it. But now everybody's like, yeah, either I got it or like 3 of my friends have it. So it feels pretty fucked.
Or I know
or like everybody's gonna get it at this point.
Yeah, or I know somebody that got the vaccine too, and
we were never
going
to get it under control. Never.
Yeah, when we take half measures, I agree. That is a salient point. Well, we never took it seriously in the first place. We were never winning this fight.
You're dealing with human beings, and we can't talk in. Oh yeah, well let's just lock down and have everyone stay inside for weeks at a time. Even 2 weeks, impossible, stupid. You got to make.
I agree. I'm waiting for the version of Independence Day that comes where the aliens are fucking murdering people in the street, and Alex Jones is on TV talking about how it's actually Hillary Clinton dressed up in a lizard suit trying to find Seth Rich's fucking parents. Okay, because that's what would happen up until the moment where people are getting fucking vivisected. All right, it's going to be denial, denial, denial. Sorry.
You're okay.
Actually, I saw.
I just feel like I need to remind you that Omicron's killed like 7 people.
That's good.
On the planet.
7 people? Okay, I would bet my life that you're wrong. Actually, with over 1 million fucking cases in a day, no fucking way does that number. Even at the conspiracy numbers that you guys use of 99.8%, it's going to be more than 7 people. Okay, it's probably a few thousand, 10,000, whatever.
Okay, let's see. That was like the last numbers I saw.
So death isn't the only thing that we're worried about either.
7 deaths from Omicron. That was December 18th.
Okay.
You might be. Sorry, go.
Wait.
But that was in the UK. So 7 deaths there.
Yeah, I was gonna say you might be. If we're being like super charitable here, we've recorded like 4 in Australia. So you might just be reading like country set news.
But like, this also isn't controversial that it's not as serious.
It's no. It's no. It's not as deadly. As serious is a different question.
Yeah, we have no idea what the long COVID is going to look like, right?
No, fuck the long COVID. It's about hospitals being overwhelmed. That's the big problem. That's what we're worried about.
That would also be shitty, yeah. I think New York is already at like 110% of certain hospitals, so we're pretty much already worried about that, yeah.
Because people are like coughing and fucking heading into hospital because they're stressed out about it. Instead of like,
you know what the problem with the overwhelmed lines is a bunch of hypochondriacs that literally have nothing wrong with them filling up these lines when there are people that actually have symptoms that can't even go and get their tests because they're waiting until ridiculous hours of the day to go and get them. And have you seen the lineups at these testing centers? It's absurd. And it's all these people that have to get tested like 2 times a day to go to work, or they have no symptoms anyways, but they're nervous because they just watched too much CNN that day. I don't know.
I'll give you like,
well-known fear-mongering site. Only CNN, of course.
Only CNN.
Certainly.
You know what? Actually, no. I'll give you this. The Daily Express came out. I'm pretty sure they're like right-wing-ish, and they were talking about the flu-rona, and talking about how this new flurona disease was going to destroy us all, which was clearly just a woman who tested positive for both the flu and corona at the same time.
Yeah.
Anyways, I'm over it.
Everybody stock up on your ivermectin. Get ready to paste up, okay? I've got all my experimental treatments. Not the one the FDA says might work, but all the other ones that Joe Rogan says work. So I'm fucking ready to go, baby.
Wait, let me ask you this, my friend.
Yep.
So there's the statistics in Canada. Support for lockdown is repeatedly going down. And this is amongst normal people. It's something I've been observing on Reddit the last little bit with Canada, especially. Some guy was freaking out in, it was either the Toronto or Vancouver subreddit, saying, why are there so many anti-lockdown like conspiracy theorists in the subreddit now? And the comments below were like, man, we're the same people that have been in the subreddit the last 2 years, just there's been an opinion change because the tactics and approaches haven't been working. So with the vaccine card in British Columbia, you get certain benefits. That's what you were promised. You can go to gyms now. You can go to bars. You can have gatherings. You can go to events. And that was the promise to people who got double vaccinated. Almost every single one of those promises have been taken away by the current health officer right now. And everyone is wondering, why did I bother getting vaccinated? And if what the World Health Organization is saying is true, that these mutations are just going to keep occurring, then what's the answer here? Like, are we just going to keep
there's two separate questions there. Was there what is the point of getting vaccinated, or the promises revoked about the vaccine cards? Because those are two fundamentally different questions.
Okay, so a lot of people were frustrated saying like, yeah, why did I got vaccinated to get access to all of these things, and now they've all been taken away? So
that's a pretty dumb reason to get vaccinated.
But, that's what a lot of people did. That's why they put in the passports. Do you not agree?
Yeah. That might be why they put in the passports. A dumb reason to get vaccinated. But sure, I understand people did it. We're probably leaving lockdown soon. I don't think people can deal with it anymore. And I
that's
understand.
What I mean. That's exactly what I mean.
That's the political reality. Yes, people can't deal with it anymore.
Yeah, what do we ought to do and what we should do, like politically, are like two super different things.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, do you guys think the economy can deal with it anymore?
Yeah, absolutely, it can.
We actually.
So like there's like a bunch of economic studies on this since it's like happened. Lockdowns actually don't have a massive effect on the economies. It's usually the fear of corona that stops people from going out. From memory, there was like 2 statewide separate ones, and it was a 7% difference in GDP for the states.
Hold on, that is no possible way is that correct?
I would have to triple check it.
No, so when you say no effect on the economy, it might be that there's a negligible impact. Yeah, little effect on the economy. There might be a negligible or small effect on GDP. But there's been a massive shift in the way that we spend money and everything.
Oh, that's true. I'll agree with that then.
When people talk about like inflation and all that shit, it's because all of our fucking spending went from services, a lot of which are shut down, to consumer goods and other types of like material products. And that's what's been fucking all of our supply chains everywhere, is because all of this money, even if people are spending roughly the same amount, is disproportionately going towards like goods and shit. And then other behaviors, like some people that are unemployed being like most people made more money over the coronavirus pandemic season because of unemployment insurance and because of stay-at-home work and shit. But a few people at the very bottom didn't, because service jobs and shit closed down. They got unemployment insurance that ran out and they got fucked. So. And
one of the other problems is we have a really unproductive economy right now as well, right? Like we have like a whole bunch of like the amount of workers in the economy has gone down significantly. People have retired early. So like to be fair, bad use of words on my part in terms of using the economy there as a word.
Exactly. Yeah. No, horrible, atrocious use of words. Maybe some of the worst
better
words
with my
I've
language.
ever heard.
But yeah, no, there's actually like I think it's like something interesting there to be said about like where we are spending our money and how it's like shifted the economy. I don't know if it's just like a moving away from like services. That would be just a thing. Like obviously the way that's knocked on from industries during lockdown as well. Like you've moved workers away, and like I mentioned before, the big side of it I think is like the labor market is like the big tale to be told from Corona.
Yeah. True.
It's like $4 trillion printed in the U.S. What do you guys think of that?
It's fine.
Who the fuck cares?
Isn't it? Okay, so is it true? I read this that. Well, I'm pretty sure it is that a third of the dollars circulating in the U.S. economy right now were printed in like the last couple years.
Yeah, the biggest study that just came out from the National Bureau of Economics Research actually shows that for every dollar that's printed, you can see a direct increase in inflation. But for some reason, only when Democrats do it. And when Republicans do it, it actually doesn't matter at all. Even though these motherfuckers will print out their fucking ass when they want to spend on their shit. Only when Democrats, it's so crazy. Only Democrats when they print money.
Nothing about whether it was Democrats or Republicans. Like, I didn't say a word.
That's true. I did. That is true. It's frustrating that sometimes people really care about printing money. Other times people don't give a fuck about it.
So you didn't like the Trump tax cuts?
If it were the Republicans doing it, I would be just as frustrated. Like,
that's good.
I don't.
Yeah. So you didn't like the Trump tax cuts? They were bad.
What tax cuts specifically? I don't know
the tax cuts that took like trillions of dollars out of the national debt.
I'd have to look more into it, but Trump has made a lot of terrible decisions that I didn't like. I think you guys. I don't know. Sometimes it's like right wing must always defend Trump, must always defend Republicans. Bro, I defended you vaguely on a pedophilia panel the other day, all right?
You didn't, it's not that you were defending me, you were just literally the only other person that had their brain even slightly engaged, okay? Which was impressive because you were like 12 fucking White Claws deep into that conversation. So I don't know if you were just inhibited from attacking.
This is okay. What? This person has spent time in Australia. I was severely disappointed. These were light Coronas that were like 100 mils, like fucking thin as shit. Okay, this was not that bad. You got pounding that hard.
I didn't take the time.
Do us prouder.
I will say thank you, Lauren. I appreciate it that you didn't call me a pedophile, though. Thank you so much. Okay, it means a lot to me. All right?
It was a big emotional. Really had to get over that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, nobody, macroecon is like astrology for older men. Who the fuck knows what printing money does? Like, it's hard. I don't know. People are going to be fighting about this until some economic system collapses. But
I think it should be like a good hinge point, right? To like watch. Like, I think this probably made a better case for printing money than anything else.
Well, the problem is people get into this mindset of like, we need to not print money. We need to like deflate the economy or some shit, which is just disastrous. Like printing money is like, even if it does cause some inflation due to like quantitative easing or increase in currency circulation, like it's probably better than the alternative, which is everybody going broke and dying or whatever in the streets.
Well, I think like people. Sorry.
I was just gonna say there's like they're showing that like if you do correctly quantitative easing.
Bro, what is going on with your microphone?
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's terrible. You've done something. I was going to say, like, everyone, like, they did deflationary economics, like, once under Carter, and I think that fucking set a really good line for nobody to ever fucking do it again. Nobody's going to see what happened under Carter and, like, ever fucking do it in the US again. I don't think so, anyway.
True.
Because for a guy, I don't know, I could go on.
I stay in my lane. I don't like talking about economics too much.
Good.
Why?
Fuck economics. It's boring.
Let's
talk about the culture war.
The culture war.
Do we think that
discourse?
Do you think trans people should be printing US dollars? Let's talk about this, okay? Biden wants to put a new trans Afro-American female in charge of the Federal Reserve. Do you think this is okay? Now, they've explicitly said that their goal is to create a US economy that mirrors that of Wakanda. I'm personally not a big fan of the Marvel take on the Black Panther movie. What do you guys think? Where are we at on this? Nobody. Okay. Well, Kyosan, it's your panel. What's the next topic?
I thought that was a fascinating. Honestly, it was too high level for me to engage with.
Well, I was gonna say, fucking. The panel got brought up, I guess. We could talk about those takes. We could talk about the everyone's been kicking off about fucking platforming this week. We could talk about that. What's interesting you? What's interesting y'all?
Platforming. So did you guys didn't get in any trouble? I saw like one tweet, that came up in my feed that was like, why are you platforming fascists? I feel like the Rona, no one cares about that anymore either.
Like I said it before you joined, Ben. There are scarier people right now apparently than you. So as there's always just like the one discourse and people's attentions are single-minded. So that's probably
the scariest person right now. Like Nick Fuentes, is that who everyone is? Biggest, like,
no, it's the weird cuties guy. Apparently now he's the guy. He's the guy that everyone's talking about. Isn't
everyone talking? Like I saw Vosh did a conversation with him. Stardust did one.
Yep.
Destiny's been doing them.
Yep. Which is why people are bringing it up, because everyone's grumpy because they don't understand how platforming actually works.
Basically, whenever I find something interesting, it is like disseminated to the other politics web of people around me who begin to talk about it. And then there's like a weird, I run like a big pool where all of the politics people are in, and we all hang out, we have fun here, and every now and then somebody gets too big for the pool, so they want to run away and never associate with me or anything I do again. So Vosh is out of the pool. He tried to do a Mr. Girl combo. He cut it off because he was losing the optics war somehow when talking to a pedophile, which is funny. No, not when talking about pedophilia, not to a pedophile. I don't think Mr. Girl's a pedophile, but yeah. So Mr. Girl's like making the rounds on everybody either wants to prove he's a pedophile or out debate him on something, or I don't know. That's what's going on right now.
So, to be fair, he contacted me to speak, not the other way around.
Yeah, right.
Well, we'll just have to throw that up there, throw the receipts. But I tried to watch, I've watched very little. I've never watched his Cuties review. I tried to watch your last conversation with him, but you had so many ads on the video, it was actually unwatchable.
Have you ever thought about getting YouTube Red, since it's your fucking job to post on YouTube? No. Okay.
I'm not joking. Think of the poor boomers. Think of the poor people who can't afford YouTube Red. Every 2 minutes. I'm not kidding. Every 2 minutes there was a damn ad on there, and I've never complained about ads on a video before. But it was actually a conversation. So it just
Do you know when it comes to putting ads on the video, the primary consideration that I'm looking to do is like milk as much fucking money as possible out of my viewers. Okay, so you better believe I slam them for lazy fucks like you that won't get YouTube Red, and some of you will still keep watching, turn it on, go to sleep, and I'm getting. I made it
halfway through, and I made you at least like $100. So all those ads every 2 seconds.
My YouTube guy just said that because the last conversation was so spicy, he didn't turn ads on for the video, so YouTube did the auto ad system, which just like I guess peppers it with fucking ads every apparently. So maybe there was a weirder video than normal.
That's what I was gonna say. It wasn't like your normal videos at all. It wasn't. It was like insane. Yeah, there you go. August in for the save. You just hit 400K. Hey, congrats. That's pretty good.
Thanks.
You're like the only person I know whose channel, maybe it's just lefty sphere in general, but like no one in the right wing sphere's channels grow anymore. They're just so.
Lefties are joining you guys. Don't worry. You guys were popular for a bit, and then you went, and then the bread tube shit came, and now it's on its way out too. So they're all stagnating as well. Vosh's subreddit posts about it every day. Kyle Kalinske says the CIA is rigging the algorithm. Jimmy Dore is who the fuck knows what drugs he does and what he's thinking. But yeah, so they're don't worry.
There is one level of like obviously there's genuine suppression, but it's politics in general. So it's like certain words that you put it on YouTube, and if you're not like a verified news source, they won't feature you, and that's just publicly available knowledge, and it's hurting any small content creator, left wing or right. But with the wave thing, in 2016 there was like just this massive amount of popularity for right wing creators. And the other aspect that happened, other than people just getting bored of the same feminism takes, was people getting nervous about that and thinking there was only a certain amount of the pie and they had to go and defeat and like murder every other right-wing activist / creator out there in order to keep their piece of the pie. So there is some joy I take. I try not to, but there is some joy I take watching the same thing happen to BreadTube.
Well, I mean, historically, lefties, whenever they get in power, the first people they kill are other lefties. So it's not surprising that they do it on the internet as well. It is what it is.
I mean, like I agree. Like the initial assessment, obviously, like I don't know about the other stuff. Like that seems more behind the scenes. So I don't know. But
what seems behind the scenes?
Like the idea of like everyone like attacking each other publicly and eating each other up.
Yeah, everybody. I was the most important figure in the anti-SJW movement because I gave a lot of these guys somebody to focus on. As soon as I left, not the whole anti-SJW movement, but there was a group of people, especially Andy Worski, Tonka Saw, JF Gariepi, and all the like people that orbited this crowd. When I would like do regular debates with them, they would all fuck with me and I would fuck with them, and it was fun. And as soon as I left, oh my god, that community turned in on itself so fucking hardcore. And I think you see a little bit of that happening now with politics, where with Trump gone, you don't have this central figure to kind of galvanize everybody to attack. So you kind of like start looking at each other like, okay, well, who's next? Because we can't all shit on Trump anymore, you know?
That latter part is obviously true. I would even argue that person's just become Biden and it's just senseless. Like, some of the fucking criticisms you see of Biden these days are just like really fucking low tier. Very clearly to have no idea about the policy that's going on. Like they've tried to like replace Trump with Biden, and it's just really strange.
But do you think that considering Biden's presidency, elder abuse is a low tier criticism?
What does that mean?
Probably.
It means you're taking advantage of someone who's not completely mentally there because they're aging.
You know what? For not being mentally there, What an amazing guy. He's accomplished more than anybody would have thought this far in his presidency. I'm astounded. I never ever would have had my hopes high enough that this much major shit could get done under President Biden.
What's your favorite policy that Biden has put in place?
The preemptive payment on the child tax credit is an amazing idea. The fact that that got put into play is unreal. That's an unbelievable American policy. Basically, in the United States,
Biden that masterminded that.
Well, either Biden or the lizard Jews that control him, but he was the conduit through which it happened, and I know the Republican wouldn't, so I'll give him credit for it.
Conduit. And there we go. My elder abuse conspiracy confirmed. Just a conduit.
I mean, aren't you just like, realistically, when we look at like presidents, right? We're electing these people, or those people, because it's not my fucking country, but we like, obviously when you look to vote, you're looking at that person's judgment and the people that we sort of trust, right? To put certain appointments in place, to have certain stuff, to have certain ideas about like the kind of people they're going to put in place. Like, it might be the case you have like some really stupid people who just think the president does like literally everything, but to the average normal person with like a sane brain, we understand that we're hiring those people for their ability to hire other people who have more understanding in the area than they do, right? Yeah.
No, I agree.
Yeah. So I think it's absolutely fine to attribute like a lot of these things to say this is like Biden's policy more than saying like it's his cabinet's policy. Because from what I understand,
Biden's administration. Right?
Biden's administration, yeah. I feel like from what I understand, like his administration and his hiring practices were like actually like super interesting and very different in terms of the way he went about them. Like there were a lot of like
we may have been able to find the most boring subjects for a panel in the history of panel subjects.
I was like, yeah, let's talk about fucking let's talk about platforming. You're like, I'm all good, man. Let's talk about
I tried child porn. You guys moved off it. What do you want to talk about next?
You're talking about fucking child porn. We do that fucking pedophilia, whatever the fuck, right?
But like,
okay, do you think it's worse to have child porn of a 2-year-old or of a 12-year-old?
Are you asking me like a legitimate question, I guess?
I want you and Lauren and Spectre to all answer. I need a number. Which one is worse, the 2-year-old or the 12-year-old?
Oh, we'd probably.
And then after you answer that, I want you to know why do you think it's okay to have child porn of a 12-year-old? Go.
That seems like the conversation.
You guys don't want to engage with the hard topics, all right? Well, what's next?
I was gonna say, like, I don't know. It feels like
actually, you know what? This is interesting. The Danish minister actually, 12-year-old
I have some anecdotal. Go ahead.
No, let me know what you guys think of this. The immigration minister in Denmark was recently sent to jail, I think, but it was like a 60-day kind of sentence ordeal for separating couples that were refugee/immigrant people who had made applications in the country. And some of the couples they separated because they weren't sure if it was like sex slavery or if it was like underage, pedophilia situation. So the couples ranged between like ages, I think it was like 13 or 15 and 35. So they separated the wives that were like, oh, it's a 15-year-old with a 30-year-old dude. Like, no, we don't want them to be staying in the same hotel room. But people were saying like, no, you were actually like separating families. This is culturally insensitive, et cetera, et cetera. What do you guys think of that?
I think it's based. I think they should separate those families. I really wish that the states that we have in the South that don't care about child marriage, because Republicans keep on blocking it, passing them, doing the same damn thing.
True.
I didn't hear any of that. Is like it just me that I'm not getting his mic intake, or is it?
Oh, I'm hearing it just fine.
What? Why can't I hear him at all?
I have to turn it on Discord.
Where's your going with this thing? Pardon?
Oh fuck! You fucked it up now. It's fucked up. His mic is fucked up.
It's totally fucked.
Spectre, what's going on with your mic?
50 different things.
Just use the direct USB plug-in. Worry about your other shit later, okay? Just fucking put that shit in. Make sure.
Oh wait, did he get the SM7B? Does he have the mic?
Didn't. We were talking about the mic before you came on. I was saying before that like. I was saying that like every motherfucker, it feels like anyone who has a SM7B use like a signifier of being a lazy buyer, right?
It's not a lazy buyer. It's just that might need a lot of games.
Is that better?
Wait, okay. What about for an interface? Are you using a red box?
Nope, I'm using a Go XLR. I'm second on the tier.
No, not you. I'm asking Spectre.
Oh yeah.
You are?
No.
You don't know that
you hear
focus
him?
right.
I'm not gonna lie, there was a
weird.
little bit of enjoyment I got knowing he was disagreeing with me and no one could hear anything he was saying. It was like those memes where.
Oh, so you like deplatforming too? At least you're honest about it.
Everyone likes it a little bit.
I'm curious
No,
about your
so
music
there's a
tags.
part
Oh,
of
sorry,
everyone that when there's someone you dislike, even if you're like, oh, I love free speech, everything, of course. Whenever I see someone that I really didn't like get banned from a platform, I'm like, oh, that's a real shame.
Wow. Actual spiteful
That's
cunt.
unfortunate.
Unbelievable. Disgusting.
Wait, I'm curious, Lauren. Is there like where do you go and where do you stand on this on deplatforming being like the target of deplatforming herself? Oh, by the way, I want to be super clear before I answer this question. I don't want to be like a shit, right? Because I feel like it feels like a real shit if I did this, right? I have actively advocated publicly previously for your deplatforming, and I'm not going to pretend like I didn't. I'm not going to pretend like I haven't said that. It's like no, I'm being very specific because I don't want to be like one of those people that's like talk shit and then like has invited you on and plays like buddy the entire time. Because like
We're just keep talking shit to our fucking dude.
You know it's okay because I have no idea who you are.
Yeah, that's fair.
Oh my God.
No, that's fine. I wouldn't expect you to. I just want to be like, I'm trying to be honest because I feel like it'd be like fucking shittier if I wasn't, okay? And I'm happy to go into it more if you like. No, that's fine. Real shit.
What do you hate about me? What did you hate about me?
Oh,
what did you hate about me?
The initial, very first, like, obviously there's like the other stuff that I don't know enough about. I'm not going to pretend like I know anything about your past, like more than you do, right? I'm not here to debate you on like, why did you shoot flares at immigrants off the coast of Italy? You know what I fucking mean? Like, you've had enough of those conversations. You know more about these stuff than I do, right? I'll be real. The main thing that fucking triggered me was the Lekeba video. Fucking talking shit about my country. I am an incredibly nationalist Australian, all right? I love this fucking country. It's better than every country on the fucking planet, all right? How dare you come into my country and slander my shit?
So, you were mad that your police behaved in a way that people disliked.
Oh, no, I was mad that you mischaracterized Lekeba in that video.
So, did I not have the police come up to me and tell me I had to leave the area because I was going to trigger people too much into
Oh, no, I was mad that you mischaracterized the area.
How do you
Wait, that sounds like a super normal thing too. Like police everywhere would do that, but go ahead.
Yeah, of course.
Were there not Lekeba riots? Were there not Lekeba riots there?
I was mad that you misrepresented the culture of the area. That's all.
Describe that more.
So, for example, you went through the area saying it was just all people of color. It was people of colors area. It's largely a people of colors area. Why did you leave out the British pub in the video? I'm curious.
I know everyone got like really like uppity about that. Yeah. There was like one British pub. Yeah, sure. But that still doesn't get rid of that doesn't get rid of the fact that like if there's one British pub in an area that is majority not British pubs, like why are you focusing on the
There's a British pub next to like an Indian restaurant. This is like you've been to Australia
debunked.
enough?
Like, no, one British pub existing in a town does not make the racial makeup of that town different, nor does it make the religious makeup of that town different. It's like the most absurd fucking argument I've heard in my life.
Okay.
So the most absurd, and she's heard a lot, Kyosan.
So like the thing that's frustrating, right, is it's a little, I don't know, like, and this is like just something from someone who's been in Australia obviously my entire life. I've been around a bit, been down to Dubbo, Sydney, all along the East Coast. I used to tour as a musician a lot, right? All the way up to Brisbane, Cairns, fucking whatever the fuck, right? This is like something you'll see pretty typically, and maybe this isn't like, I didn't come in here to be like hot and spicy and like shit on you. I wanted to be very clear about who I was and what I said, because it would be really shit if I was sat here the entire time, played nice and buddy, and...
No, don't caveat, just fucking destroy her. Fucking go, dude.
Fucking Americoid. Eat shit.
Jesus Christ. She's shitting on your country from halfway across the world.
No, that's fine, right? But like, it's very typical. It's very typical to see things like Indian restaurants and mosques and Italian restaurants all in very similar areas, because Australia is like founded like fucking 100, 200 years ago, and it's very migrant heavy, obviously, right? Like we have the White Australia policy. I'm reading
an article about it right now, and it's like Lekeba is one of the most rapidly influxing immigrant areas.
Yeah, probably is.
Australia, with people from it's one of the most predominantly Muslim suburbs in Australia. So what I was saying, that this is a predominantly Muslim suburb, was not inaccurate, and there being a British pub there doesn't change that.
The fact that in your video you were talking about like where's the British culture, right? And you're pointing out all these other things, like these areas are very, very similar to having a similar area together, right? When you have like a city-ish or a tangential to a city-ish area where you're going to have mosques, where you're going to have Indian restaurants. Indians are like a massive...
No. You can say like Sure. If I was asking where is the culture, yeah, maybe I was wrong there because there was one British pub that was in the area. But you said you disliked that I misrepresented
You did, yes.
the area. I did not.
No, you misrepresented the culture of the area.
represents it. This is how Sky News represents it. Doesn't matter if you read a left-wing or a right-wing outlet. It is a predominantly Muslim area. We know this. You know this.
Pardon? Predominantly Muslim.
Yeah. It's got a high influx of Muslim immigrants. And I actually, that's just a fact. That doesn't have to have any political implications to it. I was certainly putting implications on that when I did that video.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Talking about it right now,
that's what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. It's like
that's a reality.
No, because like in terms of like the area, the things that are in Lakemba isn't that far out of what's like in a normal Australian town, right? You're going to see a massive amount of multiculturalism here. Is that even though we had the White Australia policy up until the 70s, we've had like a massive influx of different immigrants. I come from a migrant family, right? Like I'm Dutch. I came over here on the White Australia policy, but the whole point is, no, I didn't. Sorry, my mum did. The whole point to say is that like these areas are vastly multicultural, and the way that you're like filming and shot at the time, like, was frustrating. And I'm not trying to sit here tell you how like, oh, this is like all this. I'm trying to tell you is like, this is what frustrated me, to be frank, straight up. Because I'd seen like I used to watch a lot of your content when I was a lot younger. You know, we're all in our 30s.
I pointed out that it's a multicultural area.
You didn't point out it was a multicultural area. I pointed out that it was a predominantly
Muslim area. That's what frustrated you?
It seems like right now you're like Motte and bailing it a little bit, if I'm being like fair. And I didn't come in to like have a massive debate about this video.
Maybe it's just because of the way you portrayed it, but you were like, I disliked
the way that you portrayed the culture in the area. That's what I'm saying.
And then your contention was that I didn't point out the British pub.
No. That was actually, the reason why I brought that up is because you had a journalist point that out to you at the time, and you specifically left that out of your area and claimed this was someone who went up to you that was quite nasty.
No, I actually didn't see the pub at that time, and then someone pointed out to me, and I was like, okay,
then why did it stay on the editing room floor?
Why did that? We actually weren't. I'm not even sure we were filming at that point. That recording comes from a random reporter that all showed up at the same time randomly when I was just walking through the area.
Well, you seem to have footage before and after that. That's all.
Bro, this was like 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah, I know. That's why I didn't want to talk about it.
The predominant footage that we brought up was the police officer coming up to me and asking me to leave because we thought that was an absurd circumstance. And that's what the news was about.
That's you know what? Yeah. I didn't come in here to like shit on you about this 4 or 5 old video.
You know what's an interesting point is had the police officer never come up to me, we probably wouldn't have had a story in that area. I probably would have just had a nice walk through Lakemba.
So you're just walking through Lakemba with your camera out.
Yeah, I probably would have had a nice time, but clearly there was a story there because everyone freaked out. There were like 5 journalists that showed up and chased me around like I was Kim Kardashian. And then the police showed up and were like, you can't be here because Muslims are going to have a freak out with you being here. And I was like, you don't think they can have a conversation? That's why it became a story. Honestly, if the police didn't show up, we probably wouldn't have had a story there, but they did. And that's what made the story. And so it's like, I just don't.
Because like I'm not here to I didn't bring it up to talk about like a 45-year-old video. You asked me like why did I think this and why I think this, and this was like the general feeling that I gave from that video. That's all, right? And it's just like
not pointing out the British pub.
No, I felt that the part that you left out between the journalists that you clearly recorded before and after that video was the part that I thought was dishonest.
I'll have to go back and watch that. I don't know if we recorded that. That was an ambush by a journalist when we had literally just gotten out of our car at that area and we were walking around.
With a camera.
And also I did do a video about that specific incident right after that I published in a park talking about that reporter coming up to me and the British pub. So I did talk about that. I did do a video on it. I did a video.
I just wonder why it hit the editing room floor, that's all.
It didn't. I did a video on it a few days
the incident
after
itself.
I spoke specifically about that situation. Yeah. About how there was a pub there. So
I don't want to get stuck too hard on it. But I wanted to be like fair and clear.
Well, you are stuck hard on it. It's like if there's, it makes no sense.
Lauren,
because you can't stand up to.
I said if I went into a town and I was like, this is a majority white area, and you kept dragging me, and you're like, look at this Chinese shop, look at this Chinese shop.
That's not the point I was making at all.
It doesn't.
When you called it a fucking no-go zone, and Lauren, you called it a no-go zone and conquered land.
Police made it a no-go zone. They told me I couldn't go there.
In a country that had white supremacist policies of like not allowing black immigration until the 70s.
At what point have I ever commented on the white Australia policy? At what point?
I'm just saying
that video about the white Australia policy or any of that. It wasn't. You brought that into here.
No, the reason why I'm bringing it up is because it's an essential part of Australian immigration.
What? That has nothing to do with whether the police told me not to be in a
Destiny, why have you opened a beer yet?
How fucking sick would it be if people that LARP as cat girls had full, huge fucking tits?
That would
just be the sickest. That would actually be the awesomest fucking thing in the world. I would love that. Their whole body would move and like everything would just, man.
We all good?
That's what's on my mind right now. I think Lauren's issue is that it feels like you have a problem that she mischaracterized the area by leaving out a building. But it sounds like she's saying, well, I characterized the area accurately. I might have left this building out, but it wouldn't really have changed the characterization that I made, which was accurate. And then it sounds like your issue is that I feel like I could be wrong, but I think you have like a second order issue. Your issue wasn't that she characterized an area a certain way. Your issue is that her characterization of that area seemed negative, but you're fighting on the characterization instead of her portraying it as a negative one. That's what it feels like to me.
Thank you.
But
that's exactly it.
Does that make sense, what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I'm not disagreeing.
It sounds like your area is, you're less upset that she characterized it as an immigrant or a Muslim majority area. It sounds more like you're saying like, well, what the fuck? Like, why is that a bad thing?
It's not just this, it's also that it's like, it's also just like seems representative of Australia when you do stuff like this. That was the stuff, that was like I say, I came into the conversation like, hey, I don't think fucking shit on Australia.
Representative of Australia.
When the only things you post at the time.
The Muslim area being representative of Australia.
One, when you're saying that like these areas are conquered lands and no-go zones, that these things exist within Australia, seems to imply that these are commonplace in Australia when that's the only thing that you sort of post about in Australia.
When I said that quote, right? I said that quote after when I said this is a no-go zone. I said that because the cop told me that was a no-go area.
By the way, side point, Destiny, you still haven't answered the question about why you haven't cracked a beer yet in an alcoholic extreme.
Okay, I'm working on it, okay?
Doesn't seem like...
Wait, someone's got a really good point in my chat here.
Yep.
Lauren Southern, you are a racist and a fascist. Your fans
no, of course, that's not the thing I'm saying.
Of low character and weak stock. I pray every day that the most progressive force in this world, the People's Republic of China, led by the most advanced Communist Party, will invade and give all 4chan users the Uyghur solution in Alaska. What do you think of that?
Nice meme.
Based.
Right, so the point, yeah, we can keep talking about it if you all want, or we could like move on to something else, I'm pretty sure.
Well, I feel like you have a meta problem with her content at the time, not an actual problem with this particular take.
One, as an Australian, talk about my country, fucking talk shit, get here, okay? That's what makes me grumpy.
So you're like being really aggressively nationalist right now.
Hell yeah, I am. I fucking love Australia. Best country on the planet.
Wait, do you have citizenship in Australia yet? Lauren?
Wait, sorry, I thought you were asking him. No, I don't. I was always just an immigrant.
Apparently she's fleeing.
Just immigrant status.
Are you going to try to get citizenship or?
I had an application for it, but we're coming back to Canada right now.
Okay, cool.
Don't you work here?
I'm in Canada.
No, I mean, like, don't you like? I thought you like worked here, like as a.
Oh, in Australia, I had a work visa because I applied for all of my proper papers.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
A good girl.
Of course. Because like, I know,
I'm not
like,
anti-immigrant. Yeah. I
didn't say that at all.
I am a woman. I am an immigrant. I think that's all I can milk.
I mean, if you're gonna move anywhere, like, let's be real, right? Fucking, that was like the base country you could have moved to, okay? If there's anywhere else on the planet, at least you're moving to the better one. That's all I'll say, all right?
Why the fuck would you say Canada? Why would anybody like Canada? Canada's a worse.
I'm not talking about Canada. I'm not talking about Canada. I'm talking about Australia. If you're gonna immigrate anyway, immigrate to Australia.
Jesus. Why the fuck? Why Australia? What?
Because this place fucking rules.
Have you ever been to Canada, Steven?
Unfortunately, several times, yes.
You were in Toronto, though. Toronto doesn't count.
I've been to Victoria, the island in fucking Vancouver. I've been in Vancouver. I've been in Toronto. I've been in Montreal, Quebec.
You didn't like Vancouver?
It's a degraded version of America. Every city you have is like a knockoff, worse version of an American city. All of your culture is copy pasted from America, okay? And you guys do land acknowledgements, which is the cringiest fucking thing in the universe, okay? So it is your country is a degraded version of America in every sense of the word. I'm sorry. Well, it's not. Yeah, that's just.
Oh no.
Wait, you went to New Zealand? Didn't you like New Zealand, Destiny?
What?
Didn't you like New Zealand?
New Zealand was super beautiful. Why the fuck would you bring up New Zealand in a conversation about Australia?
Because it's literally just a shit Australia. It literally is just a shit Australia. We pay $6 a fucking bottle of milk.
98% of your country is inhabited by fucking snakes and is hotter than the surface of fucking Mercury. Okay? New Zealand is a lush, beautiful landscape. 2 huge islands ripe for exploration, for your inner child to come out and adventure across the surface of one of the most beautiful places on the planet. Okay? What do you guys do in Australia? Okay, you kill your immigrants, you lock everybody down forever. You're horrible people, all right?
The fucking like it's really funny and telling that like Americans are always they always bring up the spiders and the snakes. Like these things aren't just like, it's funny because the most aggressive military nation on earth is like scared of things that aren't going to hurt you if you don't hurt them. You know what I mean? Like, so it's just always really telling about values here, right? And the other like 2% that still makes up more than fucking New Zealand is some of the most beautiful places to go on the fucking planet Earth. Okay, go for a tree walk ride through Queensland. Fucking beautiful, right? Fucking low as New South Wales. What are you talking about, buddy? Get the fuck out of here. Fucking Tasmania.
Do you even have trees down there? What even?
Yes. We have some of the largest trees in the world, so we didn't burn to the fucking ground.
Australia.
So basically how it works, you take the best
Australia.
parts of your country and you just make that a whole country, and that's New Zealand. Except
even God hates Australia. When the ozone layer opened up, wasn't it literally right over your godforsaken fucking country? Like, dude, I'm sorry, man. Okay, you're like anti-Israel. The opposite of the chosen people, all right, is just a fucking nightmare of a barren landscape, okay? Listen, I stopped giving a fuck about Australia when Steve Irwin died, okay? I'm sorry, but that's the truth, all right?
It was funny when I went on tour in Australia.
Miserable island, and they sent their prisoners there. Okay, they would rather have stayed in Britain than immigrate there. That's how fucking bad it is, Kyo.
Mm-hmm. It's true.
And literally,
when I went to Australia, I was so shocked. I was so shocked when I walked to the airport. I was like on the front cover of every newspaper. And I was like, holy shit, this isn't a real country. It's like being famous in Japan or something. Like, I literally just entered the country.
Wait, is Japan not a real country? What?
Well, like, no one in Canada or America I was on no newspapers there. I couldn't walk. I didn't have any paparazzi following me in Canada or America. I go to Australia and suddenly I'm, Kim Kardashian.
I bet you would have been real popular in New Zealand, country. No?
Oh, that's an interesting topic to bring up.
Sorry, what's the next? Where are we? What was the next conversation topic?
You know what? Even worse. I literally had the leader of that country comment on me.
Yeah.
That's how not a country these places are when they're having to deal with this drama.
Fucking. What's that? I'm curious. What's that like? That's got to be like some surreal shit, right?
Yeah, Jacinda Ardern saying that my entry was unacceptable. That was pretty weird.
I don't know. Like, I find it weird when I interact with some of these people that I've seen like before. Like, I'm like a fucking all the way down here, tiny invisible man. You've never heard of me before, right? And I find it a little bit weird when I talk with and interact with people that I've like seen on the screen. Fucking, you know what I mean? But like, for a leader of a free nation to say like you're unacceptable, it's got to be something about it that's like hitting, right?
Yeah, maybe for a bit, but I don't know. When you're in this job, you get over that kind of stuff pretty quick, and like you can find it. I found it very entertaining at the time.
I don't know. It's just like it's like a fucking like you just think about it for 2 seconds. This is a leader of like one of the most interlinked Western nations on the planet, right?
Yeah, but
Five Eyes.
No one is as important as you think they are. No one is as important. They're only everyone's just a normal person, like trying to figure out what's going on. I remember. No, I don't remember. I completely forgot the point I was going to make. You guys keep going.
I don't know, dude. Like, do you have a lot of influence, I guess, right? Would you say that?
Not anymore.
Not anymore? You don't think so?
I'm irrelevant now.
Well, we're working on it. That's why we're trying to rehab your image one day at a time.
Thanks, guys. And then I can finally be the fascist queen I was working to be way back in the day. Nazi queen.
Nazi queen.
Oh.
Do you feel like much has like changed? Like obviously, like now your life's like a little bit more settled. You've got like a cushy Murdoch job or something, right? I've seen you on Fox. I've seen you on Sky News before.
No, that's very much not what happened. But
well, what's the go? Fill me in. I don't know. All I do is I know you. I see you on my TV sometimes. That's about it.
Thank you, Andrew. I've not been on your TV in a long time because
you don't know what's on his TV. That sounded way more creepy than I intended it to.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead. She's about to go check for cameras. I didn't mean it that way. Sorry, go ahead.
All right. No, one of the heads of like your liberal, the Greens, one of like the leaders of the Greens in Sydney or something decided to say that I was like a terrorist in front of like the
but they're the Greens. They're irrelevant. Okay, this is a Greens hating channel. All right, like
apparently they weren't because it was in front of a commission about the Murdoch News channel. So that really didn't go over well because the Greens leader. She was like, imagine if like a Twitch girl just actually had government power and was able to directly question Murdoch News. That's what happened. She was like, why do you have a woman on your channel that shot flares at refugees and like is trying to murder people and cause mass shootings? And the heads of Murdoch News were sitting there and they were like looking through their notes, like, holy shit, what is she talking about? I had no idea about all of the drama with and accusations against me. So they just stopped having me on.
Oh, really?
Uh-huh.
So you got fucking deplatformed by Sky News.
Deplatformed by Sky, that's true.
Just to be clear for people who don't know, this is the equivalent of like getting kicked off of Newsmax.
Damn.
This isn't just Fox News, okay? This is like this is like some real cable shit that you got to get at.
There's some really great people at Sky, like some really lovely people, but unfortunately they're dealing with like that commission was a lot. It was a lot.
Yeah. So I'm guessing you're not a fan of Kevin Rudd.
I don't know much about your Australian politics. You know who I got along with, who I saw in the office every once in a while, was the One Nation chick.
Oh, Pauline Hanson?
Pauline.
Can you tell us some Pauline stories? I'm curious. I'm just going to get another drink.
I don't know. She's just like we only ever met in Crossing and did a few shows together, but she was a cutie. Okay, if you don't know who Pauline Hanson is, she's the head of like their nationalist party in Australia. And if you remember when that missionary went to an island to go reach out to some untouched tribes and got killed by spears, she said Australia needs to have the same border policy. And like it went super viral. So she just says like, and she's like the leader of a party in Australia that's super established and has like members of parliament. It's quite funny
because it's
entertaining.
It's funny to like look back, like looking at her, and I think that she stands as like a great yardstick for like the right in Australia because like she was relevant, super relevant back in the 80s and 90s for like a series of interviews that she did. I was like, I don't like it. Was like the big thing. Please explain during like a 60 Minutes interview because she was known as like a chip shop owner. That. Yeah. She was known as like a chip shop owner, right? And
someone in my chat named Tony Abbott's balls says she's batshit insane.
like chip shop, like fish and chips, like a British food shop, right? These are super common in Australia. Do you guys have like fish and chips in America and Canada? Is that like a thing?
We have them. We don't call it fish and chips.
What do you call it?
It's not like a dish you typically serve. Well, like fish and French fries.
It's less popular.
Fish and French fries?
Australia.
Yeah, why do you call them chips?
That's because they're chips.
No, they're not. They're fries.
Do you fucking get them from France?
You don't know what chips are. They're fries.
You know what chips are? They're fries. Okay. So like the fucking thin thing, the little tiny ones are fries and the big thick ones are fries and the ones that curl are fries.
The flat ones that are like flat potatoes that you get in a bag. What do you call those in
Scallops.
Australia? I never even figured that.
Christ.
That's confusing. That's a kind of shitty one. Because then you got like the seafood scallops and the potato, the piece of potato that's like covered in batter scallops, right?
No, I'm talking about chips, like ketchup chips or salt and vinegar chips.
Oh, we just call them chips.
Call those?
It's called chips.
Well, you see, it's stupid. You need fries and chips so that you can differentiate.
How do you
called using
they call it. You got like 7 things the same fucking name. What the fuck?
This is common in the English language.
The way that you speak it incorrectly, yes.
No,
but
no.
We're trying
the people have been separated from the fucking British Isles for fucking what, 400-500 years, chatting shit about fucking how to speak English properly. You can't even spell color right. Fuck you.
So wait, if I come up to you and I say, "Would you like some chips?" That you're totally fine with that sentence, and you don't want to know whether I mean hot chips or whether I mean salt and vinegar chips. You don't.
Because you're either going to be carrying a foil bag with like
no.
chips
I'm going to go buy them. I'm going to go buy them and bring them home.
You're going to buy some chips?
I'm going to go buy some chips.
You're going to buy some chips? Yeah, sure.
What's your next move?
I'm kidding.
What move do you... Okay, yeah, sure. What do you think I'm getting you?
Pardon? If you're going to buy
the seafood scallops. Jesus Christ.
I can like contextually read whether you're going to go out and get takeout for dinner, get a fucking paper bag full of like chips, right? Or if you go into the shops to buy fucking chips. Pardon?
Like, do I wear a certain color shirt when I'm going to actually buy like hot chips or like different pants when I'm going to get chips?
I might ask something like, are you going to fucking Woolies? And you might say...
So there you go. Yeah? This is what's wrong with your stupid culture. No one else in the world has to ask a second question to figure out what the chips are. 'cause we
Half your
just say
country speaks French, all right? Talk shit about my country. You've got like 50% of your culture is from the worst country on the fucking planet. What are you talking about?
Jesus.
How dare you? It's one province, sir.
Yeah, and that
basically
province
not
like
part of
literally
Canada.
drags down your entire fucking country. It's that bad. Okay.
True. True. One province. And we almost got rid of them, too. We almost got rid of them. It was like literally a 50-50 split vote on the referendum.
The Quebecs do vote right, though, so that's cool. That's the only thing that makes them okay.
Quebec is like weirdly nationalist and right-wing in a lot of ways, but then like they've got insane lockdown there and also like the most hardcore like Antifa segments in Canada. And so I think it's actually not so much that they're right-wing, they're just more European.
Yeah, they're like super European nationalists.
Mentally challenged cousin, but like they are like a little more European than the rest of Canada. And I'll give them that. They do have more identity. Destiny hit it on the head when he said Canada is just kind of like a LARPing version of America. There's a great book written in 1965, I think, by George Grant, Lament for a Nation, that is entirely on that topic of the Americanizing of Canada, and it is fantastic.
Do you know how overseas you tell who a Canadian is?
Oh no.
They're the first person that goes, I'm not American. Okay,
They fucking
good for you. Good for you, bro. We're all proud of you, okay?
They all sound the same too. It's actually, I don't know, like this is like maybe, can you guys tell like Americans, can you tell the difference between Americans and Canadians by their accent or the sound of the way they speak?
Honestly, people from Toronto and Vancouver can be pretty slight. Once you get out of there, like somebody's from fucking Alberta or some shit, it's like you're some weird shit. But on the people from the city, it can be pretty slight. On certain words you can, but nobody's out here saying like a boot, right? Like it's a lot more subtle than that. Huh?
People are actually out here saying a boot.
There's like hosers in like deep Canada. You guys know what a hoser is? There's a word for it in every culture. So you would know what's the Australian word for that? Like someone who just drives their ute around Queensland.
Bogans.
Bogans, yeah. So like a hoser is a Canadian bogan. And then I think they're like gopniks in Russia or something. And then there's a British version too. Chavs. Everyone's got their word.
No, chavs are like those are really different. Like gopniks and chavs are like, because gopniks and chavs are like the kind of people who wear like fucking all-in-one tracksuits and squat like so far down that they fucking could streak their ass across the ground. Okay,
but like the point is they're like this lower class, like this poorer class of
society. I don't know if it's like the same kind of person though.
Like a tacky culture.
Aren't Hoosers more like kind of like white? I don't want to say like white trash redneck. Isn't that like
that's what Hoosers are like? I don't know. Let me look up the definition. But how I imagine them is with a beer and like out in the woods wearing flannel.
I think chavs are more like aren't chavs more like fuckboys? Like
you're right. Like, different. But what I'm saying is they are the poor, like the poor version of your larger culture.
Gotcha.
Do you get what I'm saying? I don't know if I'm making any sense at all. Hopefully
so like the American equivalent would be like hillbillies, basically, right?
Yeah. A foolish or uncultivated person. There you go. It's the uncultivated person in your society. So like a chav would be considered uncultivated. They're not very, yes, they may buy a lot of like fake Gucci tracksuits, but they're uncultivated at at any level. Fake Adidas tracksuits doesn't matter if you're in a swamp or in
Does Gucci make tracksuits? Is that a thing?
Yeah, they do.
I don't know anything about fashion, so okay.
Actually, I think I swear I've seen it like once. I'm gonna Google this up to make sure because now you've got me nervous that I've just like.
Didn't I? I swear I saw a picture of.
Don't spend misinformation around Destiny, dude. I'm on the list.
Can you let Spectre talk? He's trying to talk.
That's fine.
Yeah, this guy.
Audio better.
Until you fix your mic.
Your audio is better. No, it's better now.
It's not.
It is better.
Oh my god.
It's not better.
It is better.
Kyo, is it? I had somebody check it. I don't know.
I had somebody check it.
Another lie by Lauren Southern. Don't worry, I got you, Spectre.
Mm-hmm.
Your light is like over fucking exposed like crazy. If you're using a webcam, turn down the exposure.
Yeah.
Yeah, so well.
That in a minute.
It's just a roasting him stream.
I'm not roasting. I'm giving a tech advice. Okay. Hey, if you
love
a
chat made a good comment. They said the chavs and the gopniks and all these people actually are the culture of their country. They're not the uncultured. That's very true. They maintain the culture. And someone else asked if I'm being racist. I probably am. I wouldn't know. Apparently.
Why do you wear a NASA cap if you're so fucking proud of your goddamn country?
My partner bought it for me when she went to Florida.
Okay, I'm either just had a stroke or I didn't hear a single fucking word you just said.
My partner bought it for me when she went to Florida.
My partner.
Yeah.
When she went to Florida.
Yeah.
You wear it.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a nice beanie. I'm balding. Okay. I got to hide my hairline.
Why not
So I
just
grow the
shave it
beard.
off?
Pardon? I do have it shaved off. It's all, but you can still see the hairline, right? Like,
Why not get it LASIK hair removal or whatever?
well, fuck
People
that,
do
dude.
don't they?
Eventually, I'm gonna get enough money that I can like do the hair
gonna Elon
transplant thing.
Musk it?
Yeah, I'm gonna Elon Musk it, dude. Hell yeah.
Okay.
I look like I'm wearing a toupee.
Someone just said I'm actually not using racist slurs. I'm using classist slurs. So they're educating me. How do you guys feel about classism?
I think it's based.
Like that people are segregated into different classes or like a classist analysis? What are we asking here?
Literally classism. That's the question. I'm putting it out,
Wow.
putting a word out.
I don't like being called a cracker. I'll say that.
Well, is that a class?
That is a classist slur. Yes. It was only
I feel
used
like
against
that's a
poor
racist
whites.
slur. Oh,
It's the unique combination where it's like a 2-for-1. You know.
I feel like
Okay,
that's more redneck, isn't it?
It was specifically so from when I did my like reading on it during the whole
I thought
discourse.
it was like cracking a whip.
And guess who
Wasn't
did
it?
that?
Like you're rich white people with slaves?
No.
That's what I thought.
No, the people they paid. Why would they go out in the
Okay.
fields
Yeah.
themselves to have money?
True.
They
Good point.
Yeah, they were such assholes. They literally hired people to whip the people that were doing the actual labor.
Well, I mean,
By
isn't
the
that
way,
like
can you hear
every
me now?
job ever? Where, like your
whipping,
CEO is not
so
going
the
to show
people
up.
Middle
that were-
managers.
Whipping were also.
It's called middle management. Lauren, do you have a softbox for your light?
Lawrence
Actually,
lighting
get
isn't
that
terrible.
tonight. I was literally like just applying powder because I'm also
Well, 'cause I
shining
got-
like crazy.
Well, one of the things that will increase shine is if you don't have a softbox and the light is just like glaring
Yeah,
at
it
your
is just
face.
doing that.
But if you diffuse the
It's
light,
pretty
more,
bright.
Do you know what?
But it might
do
also
you-
be because you're a disgusting oily monster. So
True.
either one it could be. Yeah.
Facts.
I actually think the lighting was fine there. Like Spectre's is fucked. But like
Well, it's not so much that he's fucked. He's giving us the true Australian experience. You look like you're on the surface of the fucking
he's
sun.
not
so-
Australian. It's a fucking problem.
Well, I know, but he's demonstrating for you, okay? This is what it looks like. This is how we see Australians, all right? You just need to flip his camera and we're good to go.
I can see like 3 details. I don't see his nose at all. I can just kind of see it defined because it's a part where his mustache is missing.
Oh, there we go.
And I
Nice.
see 2 like beady eyes in the radiant sun. But doesn't he look like Jon Snow, Destiny?
Jon Snow. Maybe a little bit.
Not a little bit. He looks a lot like him.
Okay.
Yeah, that's just a fact.
Okay.
It's the truth.
Can we not? Okay, I have one area I'm not going to. I don't want to talk about Lord of the Rings. Or I don't want to talk about Game of Thrones. We can talk about Rings. I don't want to talk about Game of Thrones. Don't bring that up. That's my one like trigger topic, okay?
I appreciate that.
Have you guys ever played Jackbox TV games?
Yeah,
I
love
just
him.
discovered
Yes.
this the other night. We should play a Jackbox TV game.
Let's do that next time.
If you want it, sounds good. Oh yeah.
Lame. Fine.
Okay, they're good for like the whole like board game thing online. It's cool to be able to do stuff. Like one thing I think is like really fucking sick, and that I think Rona has done like a really good job of exposing is like how well we're able to communicate now without like being near each other and do stuff with each other. I don't know. I
You
think that's
think
fucking
we
cool.
communicate with each other well?
Yeah, I was going to
you
take
mean,
the
like,
exact
we're
opposite of
actually
that.
able. You're,
You
as
have the
in, like,
capability, but
yeah, but we
the
don't
real
do
life
it.
communication is way different than this dog shit fucking online communication. Holy fuck. Fuck online shit.
Yeah, I just had someone pay $1 to say, Lauren, please let me taste your white woman saliva. So I don't think we communicate well with each other at all.
That's fair.
Not even a
Jesus.
little bit.
I mean, he's clear and concise. He's asking for consent. He said, let me. That's kind of a demand, I guess. But
Yeah.
he's paying.
Banned for assault.
How is that assault? Wait, what?
What happened to free
You
speech?
just said there was no consent.
Well,
I didn't consent to that chat going through.
You
didn't
have a
consent to my
chat where they're
eyes.
allowed to. Oh well.
Oh.
Oh, here we go. The guy who just.
I didn't consent to be born.
I was gonna say we just
Wow,
had a
the
big chat.
anti-natal.
You just had a big chat
Yeah.
about consent, didn't you? How'd that go?
It went great. I love talking about consent.
What was what points? I didn't catch the discussion. What where'd you hit it at?
We basically
Speaking of,
talked
did you
about how.
groom someone named Mr. Mooten?
Hey, well, listen. All right, he's cool with it now. So, Mr. Mr. Moon is a friend that I think he started playing DayZ with us when he was probably like 16 or 15. But he's like stuck around. He's a streamer now. So you know what? He's cool. He's a cool guy. He was like my first child to me, really. I say that Nathan is my second son because Moon was my first. So yeah. And now we live in the same building. So yeah.
That sounds very normal and healthy. But continue with
I've
your
been
child
streaming for the
consent
past.
argument.
Okay, if anybody who's going to criticize me for not having a normal or healthy life, okay, weren't you doing like fucking conservative pageants when you were fucking 18 about political debate and shit? Okay, slowly roll there.
I was on the news. I was skipping high school to go be a conservative commentator.
So, yeah, pump the brakes, all right, Mrs. Hitler, all right, slow down, all right. Yeah, we talked about consent. It was fun. Yeah, it's a good conversation.
What was the consensus of the consent?
It's just a long. It's just that the Mr. Girl guy's interesting because he like thinks about things, and a lot of people just kind of copy paste their positions from whatever community they're a part of. And yeah, so like obviously consent is complicated. Sexual situations are complicated. All of it is like pretty complicated, and it's pretty irritating that people try to like ham fist like one answer for everything or whatever. Yeah,
it's one of the more frustrating things.
No. What's complicated about consent? Okay.
Like literally everything.
Let me clarify that.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
You're right. There is. We're not talking age of consent. We're talking just like consent in general, right?
No, I mean you can argue age of consent gets weird too when you get like rummy Julie shit, but no, we're talking about consent for sexual things in general.
Okay. So that was a big conversation, like whether you need literal consent forms, which I think they were talking about making laws around on certain campuses in California. That is a complex topic.
Well, even if you were to do like full-on consent forms, right? It's even more difficult.
Yeah,
that doesn't solve it. There's like so much more difficult than that.
Yeah, and somebody could like, since you've signed it now, are you like committed to it? Like, are you fucked now? Literally, when you're like, everything like, oh god, I signed the form. Like, I guess I'm on this wild ride until this motherfucker finishes. Like, fuck me, you know. You can get stuck. Wait, have you ever
revoked the consent?
I guess yeah, you'd have to have that clause in there. Have you ever had a chubber that you had to go through with Kyosan or Spectre? Has this happened to you?
Has ever had a what?
A chubber that you... When I was a wee lad of 21, 22, and I'd never done like Tinder and online shit, that was all like really new. I didn't know about the magical abilities of women to take selfies from deceptive angles. I was a child, okay? A child of 21. I didn't know anything about that. So this girl had all the standard photos, like, oh my god, she's got big boobs, she looked pretty cute, like, oh, this is awesome. And I had we decided to meet up and got a hotel room. It was gonna be so much fun. And I was waiting in the lobby, and she said she parked, and so I was gonna go outside to meet her because I'm a gentleman. And I opened the door and I go outside, and wow, I heard her before I saw her approaching. Okay, it was. And I was like, oh my god, this is going to be the largest one that I've ever tangoed with before in my entire life. I had to step inside and take a few deep breaths, okay? There was like some psychological prep going into this person. But like, they walked in, at first I kind of like waited, like maybe they won't recognize me, but she saw me immediately. She's like, oh my god, Steven, right? And I was like, yeah, that's me or whatever. Yeah, but I mean, like, I figured we're that far. And I would just feel so bad being like, I'm sorry, but I have a weight limit and you're about 150 pounds north of that. I couldn't say no. I was like, well, let's go. We had to do it. I had to do it. I had to go through with it.
Was this like MySpace days?
Was this what?
MySpace days?
No, how the fuck old do you think I am? I'm 33.
You're older than me, Connor, right? Yeah.
Okay, Jesus, MySpace. To meet someone on MySpace and fuck them, I had to been like 13 years old. What the fuck? This is a long time.
No. Because I was gonna say MySpace was like that era was like the worst for it. Like people used to take photos not from like here. They used to take them from like here.
Oh, right? For the MySpace angle shit. Oh yeah, sure, yeah. But this is on like some dating app, and damn, you've never felt like you had a thing where like you had to go. Yeah, I was like 21 when this happened. It was 21. Tinder. Yeah.
Tinder 21? No, it wasn't around when you were 21.
Yeah, 200%. Tinder wasn't around
shit.
then.
No, you're right. Well, it would have been something else. Maybe it was like Reddit or something. I don't know. Maybe it was like on one of the...
You fucking pick it up on Reddit?
Yeah, there's like... Because there used to be... Well, I don't know. Like I said, I saw pictures. I thought it was fine. I thought she was okay. She looked cute. I didn't know.
What do you mean? I didn't know about the angles. What did you fucking expect? I didn't know about the angles, man.
You know what's
I've never been catfished before. Why would somebody do that to themselves? What if she showed up and I was like, bro, okay? You're a fucking whale, all right? I don't have a license to touch you. Okay, what would she expect to happen? She's just lucky she ran into a nice guy that couldn't leave her hanging or drowning, I guess, is the case. Like...
So it's just
Anyway.
like the pity.
But we didn't even have Facetune.
Imagine
then,
being
so
the
you would
person like
have to be
listening to this too.
pretty bad at
You're like, wait,
identifying
that was like 8 years ago. Oh no, that's me. Oh no.
It was. Wait, what?
I can't imagine like if the person like is the person like watching this, right, and they're like, oh, that was about 8 years. Oh, 8 years. Oh, like
No
just
shot.
realizing
There was one girl from Tinder that did watch a stream though. That was really awkward, and she got really mad. So I met a girl. Okay, I like women that have strong personalities. Okay, I don't. A lot of women are like demure and they roll over. That's so fucking boring to me. And we went to dinner, and this girl was really cool because she was a music major, and I went to school for music. So I'm like, oh my god, that's a huge connection right away. Awesome. And we start talking about music, and we mentioned like, oh, what composers do you like, whatever. And she does the standard pretentious music. And she's like, oh, I really don't like Hans Zimmer. I think this stuff is too basic. I really like John Williams. And I was like, oh, I really like Hans Zimmer. I think a lot of his stuff is like pretty cool. And she 180'd immediately. She was like, oh, well, actually, yeah, I kind of like Hans Zimmer too. Like I have a playlist on my phone. And it's like, you're so desperate for my approval. And I remember when I got home and I started streaming that night, I brought this story. I was like, I hate it how sometimes people will mirror your opinion to match your own. And I started getting hammered with messages on fucking Tinder from this girl. And she's like, hey, like, I hear that you're talking about me. Like, do you really think I changed my opinion? Like, what? And she started sending me screenshots of like her YouTube playlist or whatever the fuck. I'm like, oh my God, this is so fucking awkward. Rip, yeah.
fuck, dude. Do you like?
That sounds awful. That sounds like you've been through a lot of trauma.
She still wanted to meet up. That was the girl that introduced me to Game of Thrones. So yeah, it's a good time.
That's some trauma, yeah.
You need to go back and like sue her for that.
That was the real trauma, for real.
Do you like? Do you have to deal with this shit much?
Deal with what shit?
Like you just mentioned, like someone literally like catching your stream and be like, oh, that's me. Like when it comes to dating.
This is why I like. There's a good mix of like meeting people that are totally disconnected from online shit is fun. Because it's kind of weird when I'm like interacting with fans or whatever, because they're like, oh, Destiny, I know every single detail about your life for the past like 12 years. And I'm like, that's cool. I don't even remember your first name. What is it again? Like, there's like so much catch up that we have to do where it's like, I don't know anything about you. And you're like quoting, like, do you remember when you did this thing? And it's like, yeah, I was there. Yeah, I do. Yeah, it gets a little, I mean, it's not the worst thing, but like, it's nice meeting people that are totally disconnected from it sometimes. Yeah.
I assure you it's the worst thing from both sides. I met this anchor from Fox News that I watched when I was a kid, and I quoted back something that he said like 20 years ago to him, like exact quote. And I was like, I love this quote from you. And it was, he never invited me back on his show. I think I was like never allowed on Fox News again.
Nice.
Like, you psycho stalker bitch. You stay away.
Well, Lauren,
from
you're like on both sides of it then, right? Speaking about people like wanting to like taste some of your saliva or some shit.
Oh God.
Yeah, absolutely. I know the experience of both sides. No, I don't think. No, I've never been a psycho stalker. I've been a fan.
Every psycho stalker says that, but
okay. True. Laughs awkwardly.
It's so true. I've had multiple encounters with women, and we have the logs where I'll make the joke and I'll be like, oh, like, as long as you don't get like super crazy. And they're all like, oh, LOL, I would never do that. And you know, there's been more than one that has said that we've had that conversation verbatim, and they've been a crazy fucking psycho stalker bitch. But you know, what are you gonna do?
A red flag. That's a red flag. Saying you're
being
not
a psycho. Oh,
no,
what are you supposed to say? I am a psycho?
No, if you like start a conversation with someone, like, I'm definitely not a psycho. I'm not like those other psychos.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or are they just saying that unprompted, or are you asking?
No, I usually say like, I hope you're not a psycho.
4 beers in. I have no idea what's happening anymore. There goes my New Year's resolution, day one.
What, drink less? Yeah.
No more drink.
I still haven't seen you crack a single fucking beer, motherfucker.
It's coming. It's coming.
It's not coming. You just can't put it off.
Is it
the rest of us are gonna like look fucking.
Just chill. Calm the fuck down, okay?
What is that in the background?
It's a sax.
Is that a saxophone?
It represents my dreams and lost aspirations.
Can you play the saxophone?
Not right now, because it's fucking 1 a.m.
No. Are you able to?
I went to college for saxophone performance.
Saxophone performance?
Yes, I was gonna be a music major. That's what I was.
I'm not a stalker.
Wait,
no fucking idea.
As like because you're like a music guy. Like I said before, I've done like music for a little while, but I just do like punk shit, right? Did you ever do like touring shows or anything? I've never heard you talk about this.
I gigged with a group of old guys for a little bit, and that was kind of fun. But the funnest thing I did was I had a classmate that played piano, and he was so good. And we did a lot of like improv stuff. It was probably the most fun I've ever had in my entire life. But yeah, we went to a church, asked if we could record some stuff, set up some mics, and we made a few recordings, and that was like a lot of fun. Yeah.
Is it something you still do now?
I play piano now because saxophone is really hard to do on your own. So, but I enjoy playing piano too. People like to play along. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you get like many jams going?
If somebody wants to, if I'm able to. I played a little bit with Albert, a violin player guy. I played a little bit with Zane, a guitar guy. Yeah.
Just like other streamers and shit?
Yeah, whoever. I mean, I don't usually carry piano around and run into people and...
No. What I'm saying is, like, do you, like, have a chance to, like... Do you get to do music shit now, or are you just stuck with streaming eternally? Is this all you have?
For music stuff, I'll make like a little melodic idea on a piano or like a mini song basically, and I throw it to my community and make them turn it into full songs. And that's like my music outlet. I call my composition challenges. And I make full songs over it. Yeah.
Have you ever thought about like getting like a band together, just doing music and just getting it out?
It's a lot of work. Okay.
It's not as much work as you think it is. Like, it's just like usually, yeah.
For this type of stuff that I like to play and everything, it's kind of hard to find other people. But, you know, it is what it is. We'll see someday.
Because I don't know, like if I was, this is like a bit of like, if it was like me empathy-wise, right? Like how I feel about doing things, how I like to do things. I think it'd be really cool if I was someone who did music and did a lot of music. And I've done a bit, right? I'm just like mostly like a drummer, but like, if it was me in your position, like obviously right now I'm like a small streamer, I promote my band, like Blindside Hardcore, listen to us, fucking whatever, right? But if I was like your size, one thing that would be interesting for me as someone who has a large platform and has a big thing to stand on, that would always sort of get at me, is that I would always worry that the things that I do are going to be tainted by my audience's perception of everything else that I do, right? So I would worry that people would tell me that they like things that I do because they like me, right? Because they have that parasocial relationship with me. Have you ever thought about just releasing music outside of stream and seeing how it goes?
Fuck no, I don't think it would go anywhere.
You don't think it would go anywhere?
No, probably not. But this stuff, my tastes are pretty basic. I might be able to do like some lo-fi stuff that makes it to a few people's playlists, but it's not going to be like amazing shit.
Have you ever thought about jumping on the train of streamers making lo-fi stuff to get a fuck ton of music out of plays for background stuff?
I'm too lazy to learn the digital audio workstations. I used to do that shit a long time ago, but I just like to scream at people about politics, play video games, fuck fat people on Tinder, you know. Well,
like music's like a passion of yours, right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, because you got a saxophone on your screen.
Yeah, well, I like to play my keyboard after I'm done streaming. That's fun. That's my outlet, my musical outlet. Or play when I'm on LSD.
Yeah, fair enough. I don't know.
Do you ever do drugs and music at the same time? Like play music?
I am not a drug guy, like, because I was raised very much in the punk scene, right? And if you've heard of a guy called CM Punk, you know what I'm talking about, is that the punk scene is actually very surprisingly very anti-drinking and drugs. Very anti-drinking and drugs.
This is a cope for the fact that Australia has no drugs.
Australia has a lot of fucking drugs. A lot of drugs, okay? This just shows you've never been to a fucking rural town because you'd be handed ice every 2 steps.
What I heard is that they've got like a very hardcore, because it's an island country, they can really, you know, deter the amount of illegal drug importations compared to America.
No, those people haven't been near drug communities. Well, the only reason I'd know is because I think I said it before you joined. Like I work, obviously, like I'm not a full-time creator, right? My like work outside of this is to work in.
Okay, so wait. No, what I heard is it's like 3 times the price there. So let's see, price of.
Kind of like guns.
It's what it probably is they have drugs, but it's like compared to America, probably not. It's kind of like how when you went to Namo and said it was an incredibly scary place, but compared to any American city, it was very tame.
Wait, where did you just say?
I coughed. What were you? I'm sorry.
I was gonna say there is like a massive drug problem in Australia, especially in rural towns.
Australian cocaine prices hit $450 a gram after 50%.
That's $450 Australian
price spike in 2020. Making them.
But Australia has a minimum wage of like 52 AUSD or whatever. AUD
no.
an
So
hour,
like,
right?
look at this. For 450 Australian is gonna be.
We're talking about fucking coke prices.
I'm curious now.
That would be still like $330
Fuck
US.
you.
How much? 330. How much are you paying for a gram in the US?
So, let's see. What are the U.S. cocaine prices?
Because like the big thing,
35 if you
the big problem,
gram price.
The big problem here in terms of drugs, in terms of like actual epidemic, is like something called ice. It's like the big drug
meth?
here. Pardon? It's a kind of.
What
I
is
think it's like a cheap meth.
Anyone in my
Something I've heard
chat, what is the average price? Someone is saying $40 to $50 a gram.
Yeah, it depends on
true?
where you are and who you know.
Of course, you fucking.
So
Is that like the average price? Again, I don't know, because like I feel like Surfers, like you're getting it for that price. Because that's like Surfers is like, where do you guys do spring break?
I'm concerned by how good my chat are at knowing all these prices very specifically and quickly. Chat, are you okay? I know we're talking about my corona problem today. But...
It's because Surfers Paradise is which is like an area in Australia. It's like the spring break area, and it's like always a party place. There is a lot of fucking drugs, there. And you can get them very cheap. Like I said, like my work tangential to these communities, not like and yeah, high schoolers go there, take a fuck ton of meth, and then jump out of windows. Like, it's fucked. But yeah,
Why would you jump out of a window on meth?
There's like a whole the joke I'm making there is in relation back to a big like case from Australia during like schoolies, which is our spring break. That was like a big mystery that everyone's still, it's like the I don't know, like a David Morecambe. Oh, David Morecambe's an Australia case. I don't know, whatever your fucking like unsolved mysteries kind of thing in that people like sort of debate. It's like one of those cases in Australia that's like that. People still argue about it.
Gosh.
Making niche Australian jokes. But yeah, I was trying to say that like I didn't grow up very much around like drugs and drinking. Like a lot of my friends are actually what you call straight edge, in that they're I know what that means. Yeah. So they don't do drinking, don't do drugs. They've all got like straight edge tattoos. They're all fucking huge. Yeah.
Doesn't straight edge also mean no premarital sex?
Some people draw like really different lines with it. Some people are fine with doing testosterone because they feel like it's something their body produces, so it's not actually a drug. And some others won't touch testy, won't even touch caffeine, and won't do not necessarily premarital sex, but I've met people who won't do out of relationship sex. Yeah.
Oh, you're like the most conservative lefty on this.
Well, that's not me. I'm not straight edge. I'm having a ginger beer with you all right now, you know?
He's talking about straight edge.
Ginger beers
people.
aren't even alcoholic.
This one is. It's Brookvale. Lovely Australian alcoholic ginger beer. Great stuff. Fucking cool. But yeah, I don't know. Like, I've never really gotten into drugs. It's not really my thing. So I haven't really done drugs and played music. I've jammed with people who have been like dropping like LSD and mushrooms, and it made them very frustrating to jam with. I will say that.
Yeah.
Are you guys religious?
Me personally?
Anyone? Yeah. Anyone here?
This is my broken arm. So I grew up in a Catholic high school. That was really dumb. I got my arm broken right now. I got launched off an e-scooter like a fucking trebuchet.
Wait, like it's broken as we speak?
Yeah, it's literally broken. My
So why aren't you at a hospital like, getting that sorted?
Because it's healing. My humerus is broken and my rotator cuff right now is broken.
Is that why you haven't told any good jokes so far? Fuck, that was such a money shot. Oh my god, dude. You need a second to recover from that one. Just let me know. Sorry, what were you saying?
That's how I can tell that you've got fucking 2 kids, is because that was like the worst kind of dad joke.
Okay, I hope I don't have 2 kids, okay?
No, the worst kind of dad
missing.
joke.
All right, 1 child, okay?
You mentioned before you've got Nathan, you got Mooten.
True. Okay,
yeah.
Right. I don't make dad jokes with Mooten though. He gets the adult jokes. All right, he's old enough.
The worst kind of dad joke would be that you broke your funny bone. By the way, like
that's the joke he made about the humerus.
Oh,
you stupid thick fuck! What are you doing?
Scientific about it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. It took me like halfway through them talking about it for me to understand, but I wasn't as slow as you, so I'm happy about that.
I've also
can we stop all shitting on Spectre? Why are you guys being so mean to this guy?
Because he can't get his shit together. This is literally like how he spent most of us. Okay, he's here to be bullied and to book this show as well.
Yeah, I don't know if he likes it. I don't know if he appreciates being bullied all the time. He might just be laughing it off.
To this?
No, it's not a matter of just asking yes or no. You're pressuring him, okay?
That's true. I actually want to do, about consent. Do we feel like it's actually harmful to set that as like a standard for guys? Like if they just are working towards this one thing, right? Like getting the S.
Wait,
is that a healthy way for them to engage in relationships?
Them just
you brought up consent
sex?
earlier, and that reminded me. I wanted to, what do you think about
obviously, I think that's not healthy to just pursue sex when you're dealing with another human being, because humans have souls that get hurt and emotion, whether men like it or not. And I'm sure this is the case for men as well, but I think maybe particularly more for women. You guys would have to clarify that to me. Like sexual relation is connected to emotional connection as well. Like that bond is created every time, whether people like to pretend it is or not. Destiny, I feel like you would know a lot about this with your escapades.
You know, the vast majority of them go A-okay, perfectly fine. I think a lot of it goes just great,
a lot
just
of people
swell.
that were like, this is like totally chill. We're just gonna, just have a sexual connection. There will be no emotional aspect to this at all.
Well,
And
sometimes it
that's
happens,
just happened
but
every time.
you know what? That happens with men and women being friends, irregardless of sexual relationships or not. So you might as well have the most fun you can before feelings get involved. Why not?
True.
I think it's inevitable. It's inevitable if you have a sexual relationship that people are going to have an emotional relationship to some degree, even if it's like to a very small degree. Would you guys agree with that?
Yeah, but it's inevitable that they're going to have an emotional relationship if they were going to have an emotional attraction. Like that's just usually comes before the sexual attraction for most people.
It just depends to what extent, like, because you can have emotional connections, I guess, like if you're talking in the technical sense outside of, that aren't just love. If we're talking about very specifically love, then for some people maybe, but there are a lot of people who are able to keep that distance and just have, like, they can separate the things that they do in terms of, like, sex and everything else. It just depends on how, I guess, like, you've been raised to have your relationship with sex, if that makes sense. Like if you're always raised that like, or exist in a culture specifically, usually, and when I say a culture, usually like a group around you, not just the broader culture, because everyone's already in this culture of like, you know, sex is love. We always say that like the end of the movie, maybe if this is like a spicy movie, they have sex to show that they're fallen in love. Like this is like the signifier, like culturally, but within your own like friend group and the kind of people that you're around and the kind of groups that you're usually raised in, if you have that relationship to sex that it's a signifier for love, then probably, but if you've broken that connection, then there's no reason why not. But to be fair, for the broad majority of people, the very broad majority of people, you have that cultural signifier of this equals this.
Yeah.
Based.
Thank you. Where do you guys think the line is drawn between assault and vague consent?
That's kind
depends
of
on how they. Depends on the twit longer, I guess.
No,
if you
how many retweets they get. If it's less than 10 retweets, sounds like it was A-okay. More than 10, sounds like you fucked up. Or the person you fucked with was too popular. So proceed with caution.
But I literally do think that we kind of take the very complicated issue of consent and reduce it down to like just trying to get the yes for a lot of young men. And it's obviously more complicated than that. So it almost gives them an unhealthy relationship with it and makes it confusing when, sometimes you get the yes and like they can withdraw that consent. And I don't know. There's a lot of different factors.
I think there's fundamentally two different ways you can approach sexual relationships. The more common one is sex is something that you're trying to like get out of somebody. And then the second one is sex is something you're trying to enjoy with somebody. Depending on how you frame these in your mind is going to like dictate every action. If sex is something you're trying to get out of somebody, then your goal when you interact with somebody is to make the right moves, answer the right questions, and put them in the right situation where they can't say no. That's the goal. If sex is something you're looking to enjoy with somebody, what?
Sorry, no, continue. I thought
if sex is something you're trying to enjoy with a second person, then the goal is like, I want to make sure that this person genuinely wants to have this experience with me. So you engage them in that way such that both of you are going to have a good time when it happens. But I think that socially, we kind of like aim ourselves more towards the first, like make sure you give her a ride home, try to get her into your place, make sure that she's had alcohol. Like the goal is to like, you're trying to like get something from the other person versus like enjoying an experience with another person. I think the difference in framing that will determine how you go about it.
But with putting like as much emphasis on the just the concept of consent as we do you not think that kind of pushes boys towards like just trying to get the yes and thinking of it as
consent is boring. I don't like the concept of consent. The framing is dumb. It's so easy to rape somebody with them saying yes. Like if I'm going to an event and I ask a girl, hey, do you want to split a room? I will fuck this girl every time if I don't give a fuck about her. Because once we're in the room and it's bedtime and she has no other place to go because of the implication or whatever, right?
It's really easy. That Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Yes, but this is how a lot of people this is how people at conventions fuck, right? But like when you're setting it up in this way, you're like, you have consent, but it doesn't really mean anything, right? Because the person's not going to say no because like, fuck, what are they going to do? Sleep outside in the fucking hallway for the night? So this is why I think
that situation.
Yeah. So people, did you kick the guy out? Did you? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, it ended up being like an absolute disaster. I was 19 and a guy invited me to go cover the slut walk in California. I may have even been 18. And he's like, I'll pay for your flight. I just really want to see like these feminists get owned and everything. And I'm like, oh God.
I'm so young. That's so precious. He's going to cover my flight and everything. Oh my God.
It's like, because I was working at a casino for like tips basically and like barely paying my university. And I'm like, oh yeah, I could never pay to do this on my own. He's like, I'll pay for your hotel, your flight, all of that. And then I get there and he's like, here's your hotel. Where you're sleeping, and it was like a Harry Potter closet at someone's Airbnb, you know? And he's like, I'm sleeping in the bed with you.
Yeah. We'll be on opposite sides, though. It's okay. I won't do anything.
I'm like, wait, what do you mean? He's like, I'm paying for it, so I sleep in the bed with you. I'm like, no, that doesn't make sense to me. And I was able to kick him out that night, but it ended up being like a full-on stalker situation, like him banging the door, screaming. It was bad. It was really bad.
That's fucked up, man.
And then like went online and like, of course, did the whole shit talk me. She's a horrible. She's not actually a real anti-feminist. Blah 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 blah. It was wild.
So this is why I don't like the framing.
Happens.
The framing about like getting somebody to say yes and that's good consent or whatever is like such a boring way to frame everything, because there are so many things that you can do to kind of like entrap a person or get a person in an area where they don't ever really want to say no. So you can actually get the yes, but it doesn't really speak to like the, I guess like the health of that particular sexual encounter. That's why I don't like the framing of that.
I feel like,
but do you think
sorry, go on.
the way that we kind of like simplify it when we're like teaching people about it, that it kind of like pushes them in that direction, that we should have a more like nuanced conversation? I don't know. Like,
you're gonna have to get closer to your mic. It's doing the thing again.
Like, you need to get consent, but explain like what that actually looks like.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
You need to get consent, but explain what that actually is. Okay. Would you guys kiss a girl without explicitly asking her, can I kiss you?
I've done so several times. Right.
So like the issue I find occurs is like you have some guys with like severe social autism, and that's not like a attack against them at all. They want to be able to kiss a girl and like surprise her, because girls they like guys to take the hint, right? But they can't read that at all. So I think that's the biggest bridge we have to gap, is like these guys that can't read women emotionally, and women who don't actually want to do this weird like yes no yes no yes no button question thing when it comes to a romantic relationship. And I think, you know, some people try to go to pickup artists to figure that out, and that usually I don't think helps at all. It's not like you're going to learn much about that in school. You can't really can you teach people how to emotionally read women?
You have to like have experience connecting with people on that level. The problem is that it's a catch-22. If you're the kind of person to go online looking for advice on this, then it's not really going to help you, because you just can't learn that, you know, or you can learn it, but you have to learn it through like actual experience with other people. You can't read like this is how to know when somebody is ready for a thing. Like it's kind of like a thing that you feel when you're with somebody else, you know.
One thing that's like really interesting, just because you brought up, and this is like a side tangent thing from like, just because you brought up like, can you teach it? Like, as like my job is to youth work, right? One interesting thing that I've learned since doing it is that they have like issues in other areas, right? But because Weird Support was like very specifically focus on emotional development and focus on like reflection and a lot of these things and emotional interaction, right? There's like 4 key areas that we very specifically focus on. These kids in care like are really fucking good at reading people, because 1, they've had to do it their whole lives because how they've had to survive, and 2, because we very specifically focus on something that we teach them as pseudo parents, right?
Are these like kids that came from bad homes?
So this is like any reason that you'd land in foster care, right?
Okay.
So there's like it's called residential care. And it's really interesting to see, like, I never saw someone with such emotional development as I did until I started working in these homes. I met a kid who had significantly more emotional development than me when I was like 28, right? Like I'm like 30 now. And this person was more emotionally developed and more understanding about their internal emotions, about their relationship to other people and how they were feeling at the time than like I was until I was like in my late 20s. It's actually incredibly like the problem is that most people just suck at fucking parenting, and that's the raw truth of it. And like
I disagree with that. I think most people that care, well, maybe, I think if you care about trying to be a good parent, I think you'll generally land pretty well. Like people have been raising kids for fucking hundreds of generations. I mean, there might be some people that fuck it up, but if you fuck it up, it's like you know,
like I said,
you don't give a fuck about it.
I think people are worse today. I was, so like I said, I ditched those 4 Zoomers to get to this call that needed a ride. I was listening to their conversation before. They were like stuck at a bus stop, and 2 of them were like, oh, my mom's a drug addict, my dad's a drug addict, oh yeah, I'm on government. And these are like 16, 15 year olds.
This would fall under the category of parents that I say probably don't give a fuck. If your parents are drug addicts, okay. But yeah, go ahead.
It was actually like the most wild conversation I've listened to. One of them was like, oh yeah, I couldn't get this acting job because they said I was too white. And I'm just sitting here listening to this conversation. The other guy's like, I'm getting $1,000 from the government. Other guy's like, that's based. I'm going to try to get some government money because I can't hold down a job. And I'm like, holy shit, like 15, 14-year-olds are messed up right now. And all of them are talking about how they're not living with their families right now. They're all trying to find socialized housing. And I'm like this is like Vancouver, Canada. This is not a poor bogan kind of area, to use an Australian word. It was really tragic, but yeah, talking about how their parents are
so the reason why I say that, like, when I say most parents suck, I what I mean there is that, like, most parents aren't intentionally parenting. They're not really, they've got kids and they're doing the best they can. God bless them. This is like like 80% of people, right? But they're not being really intentional about how they parent and raise their kids and the things that they're saying to them, the things that they're doing with them. That's what I mean when it's like a skill specifically. Like, you can raise kids and they turn out fine because you're pretty well adjusted and you're going to turn out fine, and it's going to knock on pretty well. Like, it's the whole like hurt people mean. We don't have like a massive amount of hurt people in society, so most people are going to turn out okay, but most parents don't actively parent. They don't actively see like an education, like you go to like a school, right? And a teacher's like, I'm teaching this day, this is how I'm going to teach it, right? Like you have your curriculum, you have your pedagogy. Most parents don't actually do that. They just do the best that they fucking can. And so they should, God bless them. Like, you got work to do, you got like your partner to hold down, you got your kid, you got everything. It's really, really hard. Being a parent is one of the fucking hardest things. There's a really, really good reason why parenthood is one of the biggest indicators of poverty, because juggling that many fucking balls sucks, right? And it's just hard. But like, most people don't parent intentionally, if I could like rephrase it better.
Sorry, our mate just disappeared from existence. Like,
we're right back.
Gone.
Yeah, he's coming.
This is one thing that I've actually realized lately that I'd agree more with progressives on, is the existence of generational trauma. As I watch a lot of my friends grow up, and like I especially like reconnecting with some of my friends that I had growing up as kids and knowing their families and seeing patterns repeat themselves that their parents did. I really do believe in the existence of that generational trauma being passed down through people and the experiences that they've had.
You want to be really fucking black-pilled? Have you ever heard the term epigenetic before?
Mm-mm.
So epigenetic talks about, it's basically like a term to talk about how like our genes interact with our environment and how they express themselves a certain way.
My chat are all saying Lauren is an SJWR, guys. And then Twitch PayPig just subscribed. Fuck me. Honestly, sorry. Keep going.
No, that's okay. So the thing I was saying is, like, we talk, like, you're smart enough to know, Lauren, I'm going to guess that you know that like our environment plays a way that our genes express themselves, right?
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Right. So that's what we talk about when we talk about epigenetics, right? One of the biggest black pills that I learned about when I was learning about trauma, because I'm learning about trauma through work, and I'm also reading like a great book by Vessel van der Kolk called The Body Keeps the Score. Highly recommend it. I'm trying to like learn more about trauma because trauma is really, really interesting to me right now. And one of the big things is learning that trauma isn't just hurt people passing on things. It's not just environment. Trauma can be epigenetic. It can be literally gene coded in. It can come out in a way that people like.
How does that work?
So like, I couldn't tell you the mechanics. All I know is like what it is. I'm not like an expert guy.
So for mechanics, so something, because I debated a lot of race realists, so there's a lot of reading and research on this. So when we talk about epigenetic stuff, we're talking, so you've got two things. There's a genotype and a phenotype, right? So genotype is like your DNA, basically, the sequence of A, T, C, G, blah, blah, right? And then your phenotype is the expression of that DNA. So like genes or a nucleotide sequence might code for your hair. Brown hair is a phenotype, right? So there are ways that we can pass on information to our children, we might call epigenetic, that don't actually involve changing DNA. Like we think like, oh my God, like, DNA is something that, this is what all inheritance is based on DNA. Well, you can actually have physiological changes that your body can undergo that will cause you to pass things on to your children that aren't actually encoded in DNA. So one really popular example of this was is it called the Dutch hunger famine?
Yep. That's actually, my family was actually there at the time. It's funny part.
Explain this.
So basically, a weird thing that happened was a bunch of people impoverished, no food, and I think what happens is you can develop something called metabolic syndrome. So what this means is your body will slow its metabolism down, you get a bit more lethargic, but your body will ruthlessly keep a hold of every calorie it gets. Your metabolism is very low. Well, what happens is if you have metabolic syndrome and you have pregnancy, your fetus will be a little bit starved because your body is not as willing to share nutrients with the fetus. And then what happens is you end up giving birth to a child with metabolic syndrome. They can get pregnant, and then they can give birth to a child with metabolic syndrome. So what we've done is we've taken a phenotype, a disease, and we've traced it down. There's like a lineage, but none of it is actually genetic. There are no genes involved. It's just the expression of them. It's just these physiological changes.
It's like an experience they had. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. So like, it's interesting that a lot of this trauma that is passed down, like behaviors can be like a genetic, for example. Some of these behaviors that come from this trauma can be passed down genetically. That's the true black pill, is that trauma isn't just environmental, it's also genetic.
So like things like fetal alcohol syndrome, if someone with fetal alcohol syndrome has a child and doesn't drink while they're pregnant, will they pass down fetal alcohol syndrome anyways?
I wish I could answer that question for you.
Okay.
Wait, fetal alcohol syndrome? Oh, if they,
do you get that? Maybe it's a stupid question, but I
don't think so. I think fetal alcohol syndrome, I think you can give healthy births.
Yeah.
You can give
an example that was brought up in rats is that when you're exposed to a fuck ton of stress and you have a lot of cortisol flowing throughout your body, and you get scared all the time, if you're pregnant while that happens, that cortisol will shrink a part of the brain of the fetus that is responsible for like an agitated response.
Terrifying.
So you can end up giving birth to rats that are now like more scared and skittish because their parent was scared and skittish a lot while pregnant.
I lost that. I'm like, wait, giving birth to rats?
Yeah, when a rat is giving birth to a rat. I'm talking about, these are experiments in mice. Sorry. Or rats. I don't know if is a rat and a mouse a different thing. I don't know. But like,
we're getting into transhumanism, and it's only 1141.
True. When you scare the fuck out of a rat enough, the babies that they have will be more prone to being scared. But it's not because of an actual change in their genes. It's an environmental factor. Okay.
Right.
Yep, that's pretty much it.
Right.
That's the true black pills that we pass. Like a lot of our like trauma behaviors that we learn, we actually end up passing on. And that's the really scary part. Trauma is like, I highly recommend that that Van der Kolk book. It's like if you're into audiobooks, the audiobook's really good. That's what I've been chewing through. And if you're interested in trauma at all, especially generational trauma, I'd highly recommend it. Some of the studies in there are like so incredibly interesting. And it's not like some like SJW like fucking whingy nanny shit. It's like the modern way that we treat psychology and the way that we handle most therapies. Like it's all trauma informed. Everyone uses like a trauma informed network.
This is why I was very careful during my pregnancy. No drinking, no smoking, only healthy food, and only watching Naruto.
Hell yeah.
My son would be an absolute G. Yep. Absolutely. Oh, that's it. A pure diet of Naruto all day.
There's enough.
Who do you think is more? Who's a more
now when
impressive?
he sees anime theme songs on the TV, he gets like a little dance going.
Who's a more impressive fighter and why? Naruto or Sasuke?
Sasuke, because he's hot, clearly.
Wow, that's a girl anime enjoyer right there. Okay. Well,
do you want the real nerdy answer to this one?
Damaged.
Yeah, what's the real answer?
The real nerdy answer is it's Sasuke because he has like he's significantly better at shaping chakra. Okay, significantly better.
He said he's 14.
Nice.
He's a cartoon character, all right?
Oh, so you defend Lolicon.
This is truly the end of me. All of it.
I'm gonna clip that. I'm gonna dead ass clip that right where you said this is truly the end of me. I'm gonna cut that on true, right? So it's gonna sound like you defend Lolicon and you'll be like, this is true. Clip it and ship it. I'm gonna spend
the rest of my night listening to Linkin Park AMVs, knowing my career is over.
Lauren is DMing Milo as we speak to try to set up a joint for her.
Just Mr. Girl wildly commenting in his DMs right now. What 2 beers does to a mother effer.
Wait, are you like 2 beers in, or what's the go? Where'd you go? You disappeared.
I'm 3 beers in.
3 beers.
Yeah, you're the guy that actually has the Alcoholics logo is just dead. Jon Snow is dead.
Yeah, he's died.
Yeah, no, I died.
Don't worry, he'll be back in an episode.
Yep. My audio should sound better now, though.
Did anyone
come
watch? When I was in high school, I liked a boy, so I decided to read all the books he liked, as women do. And he really liked the Wheel of Time series, so I read all of them, and I really enjoyed it. And they just came out with the Amazon Prime series. Is it any good? Did anyone watch it?
Would you say that watching that to share that experience with him hurt your soul?
Wait, repeat that.
Well, no, fuck.
I need to understand what you just asked. Oh no, everyone's saying it's bad. It's pretty, but it's kind of bad. Okay, I can respect that.
It's like some young adult novel, or what are we talking about?
Wheel of Time was like a long fantasy series. Came out originally. It was they were really good books.
Man, you know what got ultra fucking butchered? Those that know, okay? There was an edgy series for edgy kids like myself called Artemis Fowl, and man, they made a movie of that.
Yes, I remember those. I never watched the movie though.
Holy yikes. Just yikes.
I feel like no one, I haven't seen anyone really speaking about, other than on twitter.com, Cowboy Bebop. That was
I just avoided it. I just avoided it.
The problem is that when you have these things and these you know what? Okay, you know what? I'm gonna say this, okay? This is gonna be the edgiest. This is gonna be edgier than ethical child porn. This is gonna be one of the edgiest things I've ever seen in my life. Okay, get ready for it, all right? I respect what the Death Note movie tried to do, okay? Did anybody watch this movie?
Careful.
I did.
Next, are you going to be respecting the Mario Bros. Movie? Is that where we're going?
Oh, okay, wait. First of all, Super Mario Brothers is a legendary fucking movie. Are you actually gonna...
But
the bomb they had the jump boots,
yes.
the fungus that was like, oh, come on, that was a legendary. Like, the bed slide scene. You had all the Goomba guys that looked like Kyosan. This is the best fucking movie in the world. Are you serious? The dancing in the elevator? Come on.
For a very different reason than we respect other movies. We acknowledge this.
I respect the Death Note movie because they tried to make something new instead of just copy the anime, okay? Anime has like a lot of characteristics to it that just don't really carry over to live action that well. Like the way the characters move and are wouldn't make sense to do it in a live action. So when people try to do these one-to-one copies, I thought the Death Note movie was horrible, but at least they tried to do something new with it. When you try to do a one-to-one copy, it's always destined to fail. It's never going to work. And I think they tried to do that too much with the Cowboy Bebop thing. And the actor was like 52 years old. No knock to him or whatever. Like he's a cool guy, but...
Yeah,
I think it was adaptation. Like I think 2021's been like a really good year for adaptations in general, outside of maybe the Wheel of Time one, right?
Well, what were you watching? What adaptation did you watch?
You know what? I'm doing it. We've done every episode.
Arcane.
Arcane, we're doing it. The Arcane adaptation was very good.
I heard that was good. Elon Musk said it's good, so it must be good.
But one thing that's like to the point here is that it's actually really different. It's like so separate from anything that's going on in League of Legends. There's nothing like League of Legends to it at all. It just has the characters that are there and explains like some kind of story. There's nothing it has to relate to. There's no expectation there. I feel like The Witcher did something really well, surprisingly, for its adaptation. It's been really cool to see video game adaptations doing slightly better, because I agree, like if you just take one thing and port it to another format and just try and hit the beats for the fanfare stuff, like you're just not going to be able to do it. Like I think the Warcraft movie just showed us that. Like I'm just what I'm broadly saying here is I agree with Destiny's take. If you're going to do it, you have to make something different to make an adaptation work.
You know what was I remember the worst book to movie adaptation ever made. Truly, the Aragon movie. Did anyone watch that one?
I watched that.
Aragon?
I didn't hate it. I didn't hate it. Maybe it's because I haven't seen it for a long time. It gets more positive in my memory as time goes on.
Do you remember the final battle scene where the bad guy is like flying on that giant cloud of black? I can't even remember anyone's names, but I loved the books. Like I just remember sitting in my basement for hours reading every single one. The movie, I went to it by myself. Maybe that's why I'm so humiliated by the whole experience, but it was so bad. really disappointing adaptation.
That's why I said it gets better with time, because the more I forget it, the more I think fondly about it. Just like
that's it.
just like every leader in world history.
True. I think about all of the, like, everyone's like jumping up and down, getting mad about, J.K. Rowling. Meanwhile, all these people would just simp so hard for Lord of the Rings, and you just think about what J.R. Tolkien's Twitter account would look like today.
I mean, like, you had like the same thing happen with fucking Dr. Zeus, like on the other side, right? Where it's like, where even though the company chose not to release the books, it forced people to buy more of the books because everyone was like, of course they chose not to release that. Like,
well, sorry, someone in my chat just said, if you're a conservative, you're going to the movies alone, even if you look like that. Damn.
What the fuck?
Roasted.
Ouch. Listen.
It sounds because you're responsible for socially distancing, okay? You're trying not to... Yeah,
I just feel like there's been... Do you think 2022 is going to be better than the last 2 years? Do you think we're going on an uphill arc?
I think we're getting better. I like to think positively. I don't know. I had a really good 2021. I got a new job. I get paid fucking shit tons now. It's sick. I work in a job I don't hate fucking going to. The coronavirus stuff's like starting to not wind down, but like get a little bit easier, I guess, to deal with as we sort of like get on with time. There's some cool shit that should be coming out. Apparently Kendrick's been sitting on an album for 2 years. Looking forward to that. Should be cool. But, like, I don't know. I'm, like, generally optimistic. I feel like 2022 should be pretty good, just for, like, mostly if we talk about, like, world stuff. Everyone's getting better at handling the Rona shit, and it's only going to get better with time.
Are they?
I think so.
This is news to me.
I think so, yeah.
I think Corona is done. I think we're done with it in 2 months. That's my call.
Absolutely. That was my prediction
2 months.
for 2022.
Because I feel like, in 2 months, I feel like everybody's going to be either infected or vaccinated. So it's going to be endemic at that point. We'll see how many reinfections we get, and then that's it. I think that...
I've been trying to get Corona for ages, and I just can't get it.
I know that like Spectre isn't here, but I know that he has. The reason why he brought up the long COVID stuff at the start is because he's had long COVID symptoms, like really bad long COVID symptoms. So it's not something I would advocate for anyone to go get.
Talking about long COVID,
yeah,
I don't hear it talked about often.
Yeah,
like so, it's like you just have.
If you want to ask him about it, he should be. I'm guessing he's got his mic on him.
When he just is this a symptom of long COVID? Like your body disappearing into the background of your green screen? I'm bullying him so hard. He's actually really nice and thoughtful, but I'll only say that when he's not on screen.
I'm crying right now.
Wait, was Lauren saying nice things about me? Did I miss it?
Absolutely not.
Okay, just making sure.
Yeah, I was just saying that you got
Can't get canceled.
You've actually had like you've got the long COVID symptoms, eh?
I did in the past, yeah.
Oh, so it's cleared up.
I mostly got over the lung stuff.
Medium COVID, like mid.
I mean, I'd say like 6 months afterwards with like brain fog and like respiratory problems to the point where I couldn't work is probably still not something you want a lot of the population to get.
Fair. What do you define long as, though? Like, I feel like when people think of long COVID, they think of like the rest of my life. I'm going to have these symptoms.
Check his Tinder bio.
Yeah, so I have friends who still haven't recovered, and a lot of them honestly are very depressed about it. And yeah, it's not great. But
did you say a lot of your friends have it?
I'm sorry, not a lot. I've met a lot of people who did just because of the fact that I've talked about it on like streams and discords, and people would come to me and chat about it, and some of them have gotten better. I couldn't give you a number on like which did versus which didn't, but some people are not recovering at all as far as I can tell. The majority of my friends do not have long COVID though. Sorry.
It's hard to tell right now. Like, all of even like the vaccine efficacy stuff, we're just getting the data back on like how long the vaccines work, and we found out, what is it, like J&J goes from 86% to 13% efficacy in 6 months, but Moderna is like twice as long. It lasts a year and higher efficacy than the other ones. All of this we're still gathering data on.
God, that amazing RNA vaccine technology. It's just what an awesome new tech, right, Lauren? Isn't that just amazing how cool that is?
It still drops to like 50%. And Pfizer drops
50% protection, and then less. What's the drop in hospitalization, though? Oh, man. Big numbers, huh?
Boosty, Steven?
I have. Yes, I did. I absolutely got boosted. I'm a boosted slut. You can stick it into me as much as you want and boost me, baby, okay? My immune system loves it, okay? I'm fucking spraying white blood cells all over my fucking inside of my body when that RNA is produced in my body, dude. My ribosomes are working overtime, all right, printing off those proteins. Oh, God, it feels good just thinking about it. I want to get a 4th shot. When can we get those?
Yeah, no, I like smoke a lot of
Get your
cigarettes. I will
boosties,
take as
boys.
many boosters as they tell me to. Like, I don't give a shit.
Get all your boosties for your health with those cigarettes, my friend. Just boost the shit out of yourself.
No, but they'll keep me from dying, not being admitted to a hospital when they're doing triage because I smoke too much.
True. Everyone's got to get their boosties because no one wants to lose weight or stop smoking.
Fuck yeah. Those things are hard. You can just go in and get the needle and it takes you like 20 seconds. It's free. You don't have to do any of that shit. Fucking losing weight, do you know how hard that is? Have you tried? Fuck.
Yeah, it's called just having cigarettes and coffee. That's it.
And then you have to quit the cigarettes, which is just as hard.
True.
Oh my God.
Pardon?
Nothing. So I have all the chats up. So good to know these people will be dead from vaccine injury in a few years. Jesus.
Wait, is this Lauren's chat?
Okay. Yeah, obviously.
So,
if you would have like a thing to cull the herd, wouldn't you want the good sheep like me that will take their boosties as much as possible? Why would you want to kill me? I'm like the perfect government sheep. Wouldn't they try to kill all the non-vaccinated people? It doesn't even make sense.
I saw that take from a comedian.
They're stopping the vaccinated going to restaurants, and these people are too lazy to get their booster shots. So they're too lazy to cook themselves, right? So they can't get to the restaurant. They're going to starve to death.
So like, what do you think? Let's talk about like a hypothetical. Hypothetical. You've got like all these people that have gotten their vaccines on like different schedules, right? So some people got them like a year ago. Some people have like just gotten them now. If the people who got their vaccines a year ago started dropping dead, what do you think the people who like just got vaccinated would start doing? Do you think they'd like...
You'd have a wild next 12 months. It's time to try every goddamn fucking drug. Time to get addicted to heroin. Time to go damage my soul with as much premarital sex as possible. That sounds like a great year.
Never mind. You know what? I'm not going to say things.
I mean, there's not much you can do. You're pretty fucked at that point. But I mean, like
hold a full on like actual insurrection, not like a January 6th tour through the Capitol. Like,
I don't think people with a year left to live are thinking like politically minded. Like, you know, I've only got a year left. I'm going to spend it in, no offense, miserable political circles because every political extremist is a fucking mentally ill lunatic. Okay?
You better fix this situation. That's what it would be like.
Okay, well, I'll break into House's office and see. Listen, vaccine side effects are gone after 2 months, okay? It doesn't live in your fucking spine, okay? Like you guys used to think.
I'm not saying that's going to chat. Okay, anyone in my chat who thinks I'm saying that unironically, please, I'm not saying that's going to happen. I don't think there's going to be a bunch of vaccines.
Not now, but I bet Twitter Lauren is going to be retweeting some articles later on about it. Don't worry. We're all a different animal on Twitter.
Whoa. Twitter Lauren. What did Twitter Lauren say that was incorrect? Twitter Lauren.
No, I said she's about to hop on. I'm sure she's there.
Accuracy.
Don't worry. Okay.
He doesn't have an answer because Lauren is correct.
Well, it hasn't happened yet, okay? We're waiting
for it. If it happened? Yeah, you do a lot of drugs, drive a lot of motorcycles very fast, and yeah, what pretty much Destiny said. But it's not going to happen.
I didn't say it was. Just getting you guys thinking. Just putting it in there.
Let's have a think.
I think about it a lot because it was
smoking a cigarette on this stream. Look at this guy.
That is pretty bad.
Look at this guy.
That would suck though. I think the worst would be the "I told you so"s, but you know.
Yeah, not the dying part. It would be the "I told you so."
I would be worried about that.
With the dying.
Honest to God, that's how I live. That's how I think of risk management for a lot of my life. Like when I get in my car and I'm like, should I put my seatbelt on? I always think like, God damn, how much would it suck ass to be like in a fucking wheelchair? Just thinking like, dude, why are you so stupid? You didn't put your wheelchair on. Like, imagine how dumb people are gonna think you are. Like, what a dumb way to become crippled, or that you didn't put your seatbelt on. People are gonna think, like, yeah, man, you're a dumbass, right? And that's why I think, you know. But you know, we do what we do.
I'll be honest, like, I'm a kinesthetic learner. I'm such an empath.
Oh, empaths. Those are the magical people that know exactly what you're thinking just because they tell you what you're thinking, right? Yeah, those people. They're amazing people.
There's actually
every single
no. I'm going to come out. I'm going to come out in defense of this. Most people don't.
Tell my story, I guess.
I tell the story in a sec. Most, you know what? They're right, because most people don't actually understand how they're feeling, and you usually have to reiterate it to them to make them comprehend what they're actually feeling. Most people don't have a sense of how they're actually feeling, or don't understand themselves enough internally. Trust me. All right.
Thank God we have empaths to guide us through that process. The most fucking socially clueless fucking losers in the world.
That's the bad part.
Anytime I see dude, I'd rather just be a fucking vegan than an empath. Okay, when people start throwing that shit up on their profile, give me a zodiac sign instead. Lauren, what was your story?
As an empath, as a kinesthetic learner, no, the only time I really, like, I would wear a seatbelt, obviously, but, like, I'd forget sometimes, and if I forgot, it wasn't a big deal. But it wasn't until, like, I saw a car crash that replayed in my head every time, where I was like, yep, not gonna let that happen to me. And unfortunately, I just think human beings, that's how we work. It's like we have to experience it firsthand in order to learn it. Even, you can be told 1,000 times in a textbook, like, this is what it's gonna do, this is what it's gonna do, you do this, that's what's gonna happen. No. Like, you have to black out drunk to figure out, like, that you're gonna black out drunk at a certain level. You have to
exactly. My kid was watching fucking movies thinking that shit was cool, and I forced him to do, it was like 12 shots of fucking Jaeger, and man, he never wanted to drink again. That was a rough third grade year for him, okay? We went through a lot of stuff. Every time we got in the car, he's like, Dad, I don't want to wear my seatbelt. It's like, that's cool, you don't have to, but we're going to spend about 20 minutes on live leaks, and I'm going to show you what it looks like when you don't have your seatbelt on, you got an accident.
I don't even
Only 2 minutes on that shit.
My mom, that's what my mom had done to her when her dad caught her smoking a cigarette. He made her smoke like 3 packs straight. Did that happen to you?
Yeah, no, I had to smoke a cigar and inhale it. Yeah, when I was like 13.
So she made her smoke until she was like puking, and then she never touched them again.
Jesus. I didn't start puking, so then I had to do laps around the house. Yeah.
And now you're smoking today, so I don't know if this is
it works really well.
It works for a little while, so you have to do it again. Oh, I'll say for tequila, I will not drink tequila. I won't touch that because I had a terrible experience when I was. I
had the same thing with rum. I can't touch it.
And I just will not. Won't touch it.
Body already trace it like vomit. It's fucked up. But I don't know, like, I know it's like sort of mocking, but I like more or less agree with, like, most people just need to like experience things. I think you can even see it cashed out in like data, or I feel like a data nerd. Look at like the vaccination rates in Australia, because I'm bringing it back to Australian politics. You look at like Queensland and how much it's had to come in contact with COVID thus far, especially at the deaths. We've had like 7 deaths over all of COVID, right? Compared to like every other state, like Queensland. I think New South Wales like
COVID.
Well, 7 people died in Queensland. That's it.
For misinformation.
But you look at like Queensland compared to like New South Wales and every other state in terms of vaccination rates, and they're down the hill. You look at like the anti-vax movement here is significantly stronger because we've never had to go through COVID in a big way, right? Like people have never had to experience it, and the vaccination rates are down because of it.
Mate, I feel like that example is hard to measure because
it's a bit of bullshit intuiting.
Well, on one side, like I have a lot of Australian friends and family and stuff, and like when they're thinking about vaccination, they're like, "Oh, I can't see a dying relative, and this is I have to get vaccinated or I can't see them. I won't keep my job." Maybe it's just because of the circles I'm in, but I'm talking people that I'm associated with that I never knew through politics as well. 90% of them got vaccinated purely because it was because of their job mandatory, or because they couldn't see someone or fly.
Damn, that sounds like the mandates are working. You just flipped my opinion on those. Holy shit, these sound pretty
I've been saying that. That's what I was saying from the beginning. The mandates did cause people to do it, but now there's a pushback against them because all of the things they were promised as a result of complying with the mandates are turning out to not be true, and they're not getting them in a lot of ways. At least in Canada, where I am.
So I can see why that would be frustrating.
They're not trusting government health advice anymore. They're like, they promised us this. They didn't deliver on that promise. Why would I trust anything else they said? They're clearly liars in this regard.
Yeah, well, so like most of the cases, like most people, like, and I don't know if you'd have the same experience because maybe your like area is like a little more selective, like you said. But like most people I've known were just too lazy to get it, or wouldn't have got it, like, oh, I'll just give it a year or sometime. They were like waiters, whatever, right before they put the vaccination rates. We even see that it's like 65% or something. But as soon as you start to turn the screws a little bit, like people are like, oh, I have to go get it now. I was going to get it done. Like it's a pain in the ass. Most people are just like pretty fucking lazy. I don't know.
Well, like, would they really be lazy if they were so concerned? I think most people just really don't care that much about
most people just don't care that much
about concern. Yeah, and your concern has to be like for society. Because if you're under like 55 or 60, you're not really getting vaccinated because you have a genuine concern about dying or fear or whatever for that. It's generally because it's for the good of society and overwhelming hospitals and all that other. It's stuff that's more ethereal, like not intangible. Like you can't like feel it as much.
And that's like this is like something I'll give conservatives every single fucking time, is we have a problem with community, is we have a problem with people giving a shit about the people around them.
I like that.
Like, we just do.
Conservative libertarians have kind of screwed that argument over in a lot of ways. Like, everyone read Ayn Rand, and then the conservative movement just imploded on itself.
But like,
They're like, let your 99-year-old grandma die on her own. I don't have to give her a dime.
Well, that's the unfortunate. Yeah, it's unfortunately like true that like libertarians have like taken advantage of shit. But like for most like mainstream conservatives, like usually like religious people, like who actually give a shit, and the rural communities who actually give a shit about their families, give a shit, because usually these people are like tighter. Like those communities are further apart, but they're a lot tighter because they have to be, right? And there, I would love to see the data of comparing like rural communities to like urban communities in terms of vaccination. That's also going to be skewed a little bit by like left-right slant bias and all this sort of stuff. Like the different circles are going to care, so it's going to skew the data. So I don't know if you can like, but realistically, we have a problem with people giving a shit about their communities, and especially as we come more online, you don't have to talk to the people around you. You can like, you know how there's like the thing called like doctor shopping, where people like look for a doctor who like sort of agree with them on their symptoms so they can get the treatment that they want. People community shop really hard online. And this has like become a big problem in terms of how much you actually give a shit about your community. And it allows you to sort of enable this laziness. You don't have to engage in your community. You don't have to engage in local politics, for example, or any of these other things, because you shop for your community and that community is online. It might be like your Stardew Valley community or your fucking My Favorite Murder Facebook group or whatever the fuck, right?
I love Stardew Valley.
Stardew Valley slaps. I'm a big fan of it.
It's a fantastic game. Yeah, you know, you're completely right about the community stuff. People don't realize how much the church and these like small community groups that actually are out there on the streets feeding the homeless on a day-to-day basis are really holding up their community. People just don't see it. They're like just being edgy on TikTok, like, F the church, F Christians. Like, no, there's actually a lot of real good being done in that world. What was I gonna say? Completely forgot.
Destiny Pulse now.
Did any of you guys actually read Atlas Shrugged? People in my chat are saying Ayn Rand's based, and I want to just talk about fuck the church in my chat. They give like the majority of charity in the world. You guys are stupid. You're actually dumb.
Actually agree.
If you look at the data. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Spectre.
No, Ayn Rand did have a base take. Libertarians suck.
There's a scene I really liked Atlas Shrugged when I was like in like my first year of university. I was like, this is the worldview. This is the correct take of the world. And if you haven't read Atlas Shrugged, you understand nothing. I recently was rereading a chapter with a friend on the when there's a train crash. And obviously this is like Ayn Rand's autism. She's just obsessed with trains. It's the whole book about like train companies. And there's this massive train crash that happens, and all of these like families and children and stuff die in this train crash. And she spends like paragraphs and paragraphs describing why every person on that train deserved to die. And she's like, this woman was married to a bureaucrat. The bureaucrat worked in the economic department, and he didn't try to stop inflation from happening. This is why this woman deserved to die. This man, he decided to look wayside at the controls being put on technology. He deserved to die. This man was a professor at a university, and he taught the students about socialism. Was he not at fault for his own death? Like, it was like the most psychotic thing I've ever read in my life, rereading it like 8 years later. Reread the book, everyone who's saying it's really based. There's some really questionable things. She's smart, and in a worldview where there's no morality and there isn't, certainly if you're not Christian or don't have any like views around morality, I think she's probably got the correct take of, just get him. Like, all about me, number one, for sure. She's smart, there's no denying that, but kind of messed up in a lot of ways too.
No, I'm gonna argue. I don't know. I don't think Ayn Rand's that smart. Like, there are people that I'll generally give credit to for like being smart that I like disagree with. I think it's like really important to understand like like what goes on and who, like, I disagree with you a lot on a lot of stuff. I would consider you smart. I think you're very smart, actually. I don't like what people call like unironically
double digits.
I don't know. I just don't think of Ayn Rand as smart. It seems like she's like very much like got like, there's a problem. Where people take like,
if you wrote like a best-selling book, I don't care how bad it was, even if it was like the Twilight series, you're probably smart to some degree. Like, people think Oh, Paris! Like people think Paris Hilton is stupid. She's clearly playing dumb
she's
to
very
make
good,
money. Like she's very smart.
She's smart in terms of branding, I guess.
Fundamentally disagree with that. Yeah.
Actually, I should probably
There's
rephrase
different
that.
types of intelligence.
Yeah. I was actually about to say, like, I don't know how much. Even though, like, I say that and I'm like probably disagreeing with myself there because I don't like the idea of like smart people. It seems like we've just got people who have like a certain skill that they've learned really well, and then we appreciate that certain skill or that certain set of skills. But I don't know. I think it's like now I've lost my point because you're like, damn it.
Right. Someone in my chat I think said it best was just that smart people can have bad ideas.
That's true.
Like what one considers a bad idea also applies just to what your morality and how you view how the world should fundamentally be at the end. Because if your what you value is different than someone else, then like a world that's completely where people have no rights or freedoms and it's like a total bureaucratic machine might be a good world to you, and people who think in that way are smart to you. And that's why I think, like you said, it's important to be able to view people as smart whether or not they agree with you. But sorry, you were going to say something, my disappearing Jon Snow friend?
No, I was just going to say Ayn Rand had some really smart stuff to say about libertarians in The Objectivist, which was a bunch of articles she wrote. So if you liked
She's right, because she split her movement from libertarians. She was the objectivist, not of these other groups. She made her own.
She didn't just split. She talked a lot of shit about it. Like good shit.
I think she was autistic, my chat was saying. Yes. But that's not a bad thing either, chat.
Oh, so now she's autistic.
Like, that's a compliment, though. Jon Snow do be mumbling, chat. True.
He's not mumbling. I can hear him loud and clear. Stop degrading him for no reason. You're a fucking bully, okay?
I mean, true, but is bullying... okay, that's a great discourse. I think bullying to some degree is necessary for improving people's mic quality and lighting. True. And behavior in society.
Like, I remember reading a study, I can't find it anymore. Socialism Done Left gave it to me like ages ago when we had like a discussion. That there is like some like positive change that comes from, I don't know if bullying is the right word, but like shaming, I think is like, shaming to some degree is like effective. I'd have to look it back up. I can't find it. I messaged him about it the other day. That motherfucker didn't get back to me. But to some degree,
good
like
shaming and useless shaming.
Yes.
There's like,
yes. And I think we can even loop this around to like the big discourse, right? The one that's permeating everyone's spaces right now. Like I think that to some level, creating an air around something, we can understand that something is bad. Because this is a problem I have. This is like my main problem right now. Is that there's a big problem when we talk about understanding and things being good. And I think people have a problem equivocating between these two things, right? So this is like the example I use all the time. Like everyone's heard some fucking 18-year-old white leftist talk about Martin Luther King and the voice of the unheard, right? And riots. Yeah. I get really frustrated when I hear that because people don't understand what it means to understand why someone does something. I think it's really important that we understand why things happen because it means that we can understand how to change them, right? If we understand where a base behavior comes from or why someone is doing something, we can change it, right? If rioting is the voice of the unheard, then the idea here is that we hear them. We make positive change so they don't need to riot anymore, right? It doesn't mean that rioting is good. It doesn't mean that we don't condemn the rioting, right? It means that we have to understand where it comes from so that we can change the base problem to stop that other thing from happening. And I feel like this is what's happened recently with the pedophile discourse. Is people don't understand what it means to understand why someone does something and where it comes from through to something being okay or good. People have a real problem differentiating between these two positions, and it's very frustrating.
Yeah, also when there's just an emotional tie to an issue like the pedo issue, like everyone knows someone or has had a personal experience around that, I feel, and it's really just almost impossible to detach that from a person and their response to an argument. And we have to realize that there's a level of weirdness. I think, Stephen, you acknowledge this well, like there's a level of weirdness in you where you're able to detach that emotional response to issues when you talk about them.
Yeah, most of those people on that panel were just fucking dumb as shit. So fuck those people.
Because like most of the chat that we're having right now.
No, wait.
There is a level of emotional weirdness that I might have, Trevor. You should be able to have a conversation about something without your brain turning into fucking dog shit, okay? It should be possible.
Okay, Brittany obviously, just like, you guys were never going to get along. Like, it was just not going to happen. It didn't matter what the topic was. But like, can you acknowledge like Nina and Ashton were attempting?
Okay, Nina was attempting to. Maybe without Brittany shitposting, maybe Nina would have gotten there. Ashton, I guess I'll find out when I have another conversation with her.
What are you guys talking about?
Don't worry about it, okay? You can wait for the YouTube video to come out, okay? But yeah, that conversation, she was trying to say that she couldn't hear me. Maybe that was the case. So if that was the case, then, we'll see. Yeah.
My last message from Ashton on Instagram was she wants people to stop thinking of her as a cartoon character. Or like as just like a ridiculous internet caricature.
Okay.
So like, I don't know. I feel like your audience, they're never going to not view her that way. Because maybe they have the capacity.
We'll maybe she'll surprise all of us. Maybe she'll be an intellectual. She'll show up with thick framed glasses and throwing around all the big wash.
That's what I mean, though. That's what I mean. Is your audience really respect like that intellectual level of debate? And Ashton is like entirely she's a very emotional human being, like on a personal level. So I feel like your audience will never have a respect for that. Even like in a debate, no, I don't think Ashton is going to be the intellectual powerhouse in the debate. Love you, girl, but like that's just.
Well, I bring out the best.
But she's like an emotional person.
We'll be fine.
That's just the case.
Emotion can be okay. It just needs to be channeled responsibly, okay? We'll be fine. We'll figure it out.
Do you feel like you had I'm going to throw you some self-reflective questions here. Do you feel like you had anything to do... well, both of you, I guess, because you were both in direction on that conversation. Do you feel like you had anything to do with the way that conversation went, or that you could have done anything better during it?
No, I absolutely was throwing social hand grenades in that conversation and making it worse. I put all of my friends in a terrible position. And it was...
I handled that as good content, but sorry, go on.
I think I handled that as well as I could have, okay? I was trying hard. I was losing it. I wanted to go off, and I didn't. I don't think I went off a single time, except on Brittany a little bit, who deserved it way worse than that. Yeah. So I think I was polite. More polite than I should have been.
Didn't she call you autistic at one point?
The problem with most of these fucking losers online that attack me is that I get a glimpse into their fucking personal lives, and then I understand where all their misery comes from, okay? And I've gone down the rabbit hole on Brittany Venti's personal life, and it is incredibly fucking sad. And seeing like the videos of her and her ex like screaming at each other, and like the shithole apartment they live in, was like, fuck, dude. I feel bad, because I understand why she's so toxic and vitriolic online, so it makes me not want.
But then whoa. She's not in that situation anymore. First of all, like they broke up a very long time ago.
That's fine, but she's still like she comes from a fucked up background, and she has a fucked up life. She's a fucked up person. She absolutely is. She's mentally a fucked up person.
Steven, are we not all?
No, I am not a fucked up person. I am pretty well put together. Really? I can handle civil conversation. I'm talking to you, aren't I? Right?
Okay, yeah. No, okay. But I know there's a difference between being like mentally and having like issues through your life and being able to logically engage in an argument. You're not about it's that like I can turn off. You are very good with logically engaging in conversation. You are very talented at that. But that I don't know if that speaks to whether you've had a messed up past or not.
It's not that. It's when I talk about these people online that do politics, everybody that does politics has like 52 different mental illnesses. They've got these crazy fucked up backgrounds that they haven't reconciled with. They lack introspection. They're not honest with themselves. So what you get is all these people standing around pretending they're talking about politics, but they're not. Politics is just a useful conduit for all of their internal mental problems that they don't really want to confront. And instead of going to therapy, yes, 100%. It's like the Scooby-Doo meme where it's like, is this extremist politics? And then he takes the hood off the ghost and it's like, oh no, it's just depression. Like that's what it is, like 95% of the time online. So it's irritating because these people will attack you like they're a cognizant person with agency. But it's like, bro, you're like 4, bad tweets away from literally killing yourself. So I don't know what the fuck I'm supposed to say to you. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
I feel like it's no, I'm going to be a little bit...
wait. I want to respond to that because I don't know if that speaks to exactly what I was pointing to, which is whether there is a connection between... maybe there's a connection between having dealt with your shit in the past and being able to have a logical, calm conversation online. But being able to have a logical conversation online doesn't mean you haven't had,
Sure, I understand that,
messed up past. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, you can have a messed up past and still have logical, reasonable conversations. Yeah. So Brittany doesn't even have a good excuse. Is that what you're saying? She's even worse than I'm giving her credit for? Is that because if so, I'll jump on that train.
What I'm saying There is a lot online that is just projection of what you are currently dealing with in your personal life, of politics. That is 90% of politics. Projecting your own personal issues onto a larger, if the world could fix this, then I wouldn't be struggling with this in my personal life, so I'll blame the world. But I'm not saying I just don't think it's always a one-to-one comparison. And also, I have a personal friendship with Brittany, so I'm obligated to defend her even if she's wrong. So that's
fine. Listen, and I'll call her human fucking trash, which she is to me. And she should be to everybody, including you. But that's okay. You're friends with worse people.
I think she was wrong in that debate. I'll point that out.
You're friends with worse people like Shuan had June. So who cares? It is what it is.
Leave Brittany alone. That's right, chat.
Yeah.
Leave Brittany alone.
Yeah, I think that Nina had an acceptable level of engagement where I could tell that it was an emotionally difficult issue for her, but she was making a good faith effort to try to understand. Brittany's behavior was inexcusable unless she was 14 years old. She was just acting like a prima donna, little spoiled brat, dipshit, subhuman fucking moron. That's what she was.
To what degree do you think that Brittany is being? That's her level of. She's just trolling for content. Because I think it's 99%.
She's not trolling. No, she doesn't. No. People say people troll when they act stupid, and then you can argue what she really wants to do is just make personal insults against me over and over again. I guess if you call that trolling, but it's not trolling. She genuinely doesn't like me. She probably genuinely can't engage with that topic because it's too much for her, unless she's borrowing some extra brain cells and she has more to 6 ready to fire that day, and she just has no interest in actually trying to honestly engage with the subject matter. So I don't think it was. If you want to call that trolling, if just acting like a dumb fuck. Hold on, I have to clarify this. No, I'm
stop. Listening.
Okay. This is what trolling used to mean when I was a kid. Okay? Trolling was when you walked into a conversation and you knew what the correct answer was, and then you gave the dumbest, most wrongest answer that was wrong for the most ridiculous reasons, but you knew why they were all absolutely and completely wrong. That's what trolling was. But nowadays, people just act like they're fucking morons. They're like, I was just trolling. No, you're not trolling. You genuinely are a fucking moron. That's not a troll. That's just you being stupid. And I think that people mix that up sometimes. Brittany Venti isn't smart enough to be a troll. She's just a fucking moron. Okay? That's it. Sorry if that's your friend.
No. When I got to know Brittany on the internet, it was her accidentally deleting System 32 when she was playing League of Legends or whatever. And that was her personality. So maybe it's gotten to that point where the troll and reality and being engaged with politics have so melted into each other that maybe for me it's just hard to tell. I don't know.
Well, because everybody on the internet acts like an insane person. You can't even be satirical or ironic anymore on the internet because people think you're being fucking serious. So yeah, I don't know.
I don't think Haz is serious. I think
he's absolutely serious.
You think that? You absolutely.
I know that. I know that for a fact. Yeah. The sad thing is with a lot of these people, because I used to assume that I used to assume these guys are trolling or whatever, and then you find out the more you deal with them, nobody can actually keep up a persona like that for that long. It's legitimate.
He's he'll walk around his stream with a sword and be like ooga booga the whole stream walking around. Booga,
he is 100%. He's serious. That is a serious dude. He has no self-esteem. He lacks confidence. All of that comes through in every interaction. He screams at people. He projects like a motherfucker. It's absolutely true. Hey, listen, there's a debate in 2 weeks. He's supposed to beat me up at it or some shit down in Texas. You can go see there, meet him in real life, go have a beer with him. He's the exact same type of person in real life as he is
in person.
One of the interesting stories I heard from a friend of mine, and I'm not going to rat this friend out, but they know who they are. They know who the other person in this conversation is as well, and the other person will know. They'll know from the story who they are. Back when Haas was very small and was the guy that was just starting to be the guy that was the content guy that everyone did content, much like Mr. Gully is now, I guess, used for content. These people hopped into a chat with Haas and had a conversation with him for some time. The stream had ended, and these two people were in the conversation with Haas for some time. I believe from memory, and I'm pretty sure Spectre knows the exact conversation I'm talking about, that sometime was around 6 hours. And the reason why that conversation went on for so long is because Haas believed that, and this story could be bullshit, so take it with a grain of salt, I trust the person who tells me this story to tell me truthful stories, to not exaggerate them to extreme amounts. they stayed in this chat with Haas because Haas refused to be the last person to leave the call because he just simply, it was like some like Hegelian reasoning that he'd given himself that if he left, he was the loser of that conversation, and as long as he didn't leave, he didn't lose the conversation.
Bro,
so
that's
out
how
of
all
pity,
relationship conflicts go.
out of pity,
Okay, this is a little bit different, okay? That's a big self-report if you think that's a normal fucking relationship behavior, okay? Don't you guys stay on the phone for 6 hours every day with your...
These two people,
listen,
Pity left the conversation and then tried to have like a nice discussion with him afterwards, and it just didn't happen.
Everyone likes to get the last word in.
Wait, I'm going to show you a message.
Normal?
Yeah.
Everyone likes to get the last word in.
That's true, but 6
No,
hours
not
is
to this
pretty
point.
extreme.
Okay, yeah, 6 hours.
Not to the
crazy,
point
of
that
course.
he was saying stuff that you don't just say when it's normal and you want to get the last word in. Like he was talking, I'm not gonna put his business out there, but yeah.
He's a funny guy. You just have
A very funny guy.
Yeah, just be careful. Funny to laugh at, not to laugh with.
He is an incredibly entertaining streamer, okay? In terms of understanding content, the guy understands it pretty well.
For sure. Hey man, Zerka. I don't know why they burned their bridges with me. I was helping them so much, and they were funny to interact with.
Yeah, Zerka and them are like living together right now, aren't they? I had a conversation with them the other day about religion. It was not interesting.
Aren't they just traveling around and staying at hotels?
They're living together right now in LA.
That's wild.
Very romantic.
I kind of want to recenter the conversation a little bit, if that's okay.
Yeah, I'm going to take a quick break to go find another beer.
You've had like 3 beers. I'm very surprised. I've made like 3 toilet trips and you've been rock steady.
I know. That's actually the excuse I was making. I'll be right back.
During like, I think a lot in terms of the aims that I have. Right? Whenever I engage in something or I do something or I'm talking to someone, I try to be really purposeful in the way that I talk and the words that I choose to try and be in line with like my aims, I guess. Right. When I asked that question before about if you felt like you could have done that any better, I'm curious, when you went to that like big panel with like Brittany and Lauren and whatever, what are your aims going into that kind of conversation?
I just don't want people to think that I just like child porn and want pedophiles to have child porn. I want there to at least be a little bit more nuance in the conversation about it. That's all I care. And Brittany's like on there in front of like 6 other online women talking about like, oh yeah, Destiny, he loves child porn. And it's like, okay, fuck you, bitch. So I just decided, well, Lauren messaged me and I was like, okay, come on.
So the two factors of what I'm hearing, and I could be, if I'm attributing
just get it out. You're fucking, go.
Wait, I just want to make sure I'm being careful in the way I speak.
Just
right?
stop. Oh, no, you don't need to overqualify the fuck out of everything. Just
I do, because we're talking online right now. These motherfuckers could check the shit out of everything.
I'm connected right now, right into your Aussie fucking brain. Okay?
You're one of the most cancelled motherfuckers alive, okay?
I am, but I'm not being right now. That's why I'm connected inside your brain.
So I'm hearing 2 things.
White man to white man. Let's communicate. Go. Okay, go ahead.
So I'm hearing 2 things, right? 1, you wanted to miscorrect some information around yourself specifically, and 2, you wanted to shit on Brittany.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
Yeah? For daring to spite you.
Yeah, she's fun to shit on and very easy to.
I mean, the content was good, but like when you went into like the conversation with the other girls that were there, was clarifying your position on, I guess, like child porn and what you'd said during the conversation, all that you were there for? Did your aims evolve over time?
No, that was basically it. I like to argue with people. It's fun. It's enjoyable for me. I like that.
Do you look to create enjoyable content when you argue with people, or do you look to create enjoyment for yourself when you argue with people?
Just enjoyment for myself. It's just fun for me. Content is a byproduct of that, I think.
Content is a byproduct for that. So you look mostly just to have like a good time when you're talking to people, and sometimes that might involve like making it a little bit spicy, yeah?
Yeah, it's just that's what I'm doing here. I'm not even streaming this. I just like talking to people.
Yeah, of course. And I appreciate you coming out and hanging out and fucking having a chat, you know? It's cool. You look pretty tired though. You good?
I'm getting there. Pretty
okay. Yeah. You let me know like to be clear, when you want to bail, like just bail. It's all good. Like there's no set time for this.
Hey, okay? I don't need you to give me fucking permission to leave. When I want to leave, I'll leave.
Look,
okay?
I'm just doing
that because I feel fucking bad for you, okay? This isn't a fucking Make-A-Wish Foundation, all right? I don't care how broken your arm is, all right? You're not cashing in on those wishes yet. You need to show me some fucking chemo papers or some shit.
I have,
right,
look, as you're someone who I have learned a lot from. I'd be lying if that wasn't the case, and I'm just reiterating your point on consent, on giving people options to leave, okay?
Okay, I don't need that. I'm a Sigma male.
Sigma male, okay.
I'll fight somebody on top of me when it comes to consent, okay? I'll start punching, okay? It's easy as that.
Yeah, like I said,
Well, we were just asking, do you prefer MMA or Krav Maga if somebody's trying to take you against their will? How would you fight them off?
Okay, I feel like I would choose Krav Maga because there's more dirty moves you can do. Oh, that sounds really bad. What am I saying?
Jesus. Does that count as consent? Like, oh my God. All right, never mind. So we see what your brain is. Okay, dude, you must have a damaged soul. Okay, based on what you were saying earlier.
I mean, like, I can do things that don't take technical training, like rip their eyes.
Oh yeah, it's like intuitive at this point, dude. You're like a machine when it comes to that kind of stuff. Okay. Kyosan, please navigate me the fuck out of this area. What's the next part we're talking about?
Oh, dude. Where were we at? The clip's already gone. Okay.
Oh, God. What was the clip? Were we watching something?
No. Like, there's like one of the more view clips from the show before this is a joke I'd made at Spectre's expense about whether about what kind of martial art he does. And I'll leave it at that.
Judo, and I said it's actually jujitsu, and I didn't even get the joke he was making until after I said it. So there you go.
Wow.
I still haven't gotten the joke.
I'm Jewish.
Oh, baby. Got it.
I still don't get the joke. I'm sorry.
The joke is that he's a Jew doing jujitsu.
Oh.
He asked if it was judo, and I responded.
You just spent like a minute explaining the joke.
I understand now. Okay, gotcha.
Is this one of those things where you just like made us explain it for your own entertainment here, Destiny? We're all just puppets dancing for you right now.
No, I'm trying to ascertain whether or not Lauren is still a Nazi. So every time you bring up Geo, I look in her eyes and I see if they flash red for a moment. So she's still in the clear. That's what I'm checking right now.
Actually, one thing I'm fucking curious, right?
Destiny's career is based on whether I like go and start.
I'm very invested.
Mr. Girl rapes like a child, like that's.
I have to stay ahead. I got sources on the ground following you around, making sure like if you show up at some crazy rallies, I have to hedge my bets ahead of time. It's like, I don't know about Lauren, guys. I think you guys were right. Okay, I need to be about 2 weeks ahead of whatever crazy shit you're involved in. So
who are you more concerned about, me or Mr. Girl? Who do you think's more likely to?
Mr. Girl's a wild ball, the wild card. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Do you feel like actually, this goes out to everyone in the room. Over the last 4 years, have you changed your politics over time? What made you change and what politics were they?
Yeah, it was a lot further left when I first got on this platform. I think that you noticed that. And people like you, and I don't even know if they're in the chat, but I'll shout them out. Fucking Kobe kind of pulled me out of my more radical and stupid views with data and just rationality and being sensible people. So.
Destiny, what do you reckon? Do you feel like you're in the same place you were politically 4 years ago?
No, I'm just a fucking moron. I learned a lot through experience. So I started off very, very right-leaning. I got a lot more experience. And I moderated my views, and I'm kind of in the middle on some things, on the right on some things, on the left on something. I don't know. I probably still fall majority to the left, but I think experience has helped to temper out a lot of my takes. It's good to be able to pull data and then to have some set of experiences that is reinforced by the data or reinforced by the data. I think both halves of that is pretty important.
So I know that this is overly reductive, but do you feel like you've become more of a centrist, a moderate, whatever you want to call it, over the last few years? Do you feel like when you were hitting from John Chon's stride, do you feel like you were more left wing?
I don't like the term centrist or moderate. Centrist and moderate, they don't actually exist. 538 did a really interesting write-up on this. So what happens is people tend to have a collection of views from the left and right, but there are no true moderates. Very few people are moderate when it comes to guns, or moderate when it comes to abortion, or moderate when it comes to healthcare. In reality, what you'll get is maybe a conservative Democrat who, he's very big on unions and economic policy, but he's pro-life, he's a religious guy, he likes his guns, you typically get these things. So I'm a moderate, and then I have a couple views on the right and a few on the left, but the most important thing that I try to strive for is understanding where the other side is coming from. And I think coming from a heavily conservative background helps me there. So instead of seeing a Blue Lives Matter person and instantly assuming they're a fucking Nazi, we can have a little bit of a better conversation about it,
Yeah, I'd like to agree. And like I mentioned before, I think last time we talked, I mentioned this, is that people would think of the kind of people that get involved in labor politics to be the most left-wing people, but realistically, when you talk to them, they're usually just really left-wing on labor politics, and will be usually like pretty anti-migrant because they're usually like really involved in their workplace. They're worried about their worker, like whether they feel like their job is going to be like invalid, like taken by immigrants or whatever.
If they can afford housing or
housing, stuff like that. Like they're going to be more of an eclectic mix of issues rather than being some left-wing anarchist, like extremist, whatever the fuck you want to call it, right? Like most people are significantly more moderate than we'd agree. But like I said, like moderate's probably more overly reductive, right?
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
Yeah. So the question I'm specifically asking is, do you feel like your collection of current policies would be considered more left of center now or before, when you were like streaming, like probably when you started doing debate stuff?
I think it's still pretty similar, but I think the landscape has changed a lot, so...
Where would you put yourself on that sort of like spectrum, Lauren? Do you feel like your set of policies would consider yourself like markedly more moderate? What are those policies? What would they be, for example?
Okay, I would actually say I would probably be considered liberal on a global level. Like if you'd put me in the center of any random country in Asia or Africa, I'd probably be considered pretty liberal. In the West, I'm definitely right wing though, like obviously. But I just think there's a very limited understanding of global politics in the West and how people's feelings about relations and community and immigration and all these things work. It's very, very limited to these cartoonish ideas of like, you like borders, bad. You want to get rid of borders, bad. Like there's no nuance to it. I'm certainly not a centrist. I'm right wing, but real life has definitely added a lot more gray zones. Traveling, experiencing the world, meeting people, being more open to conversation has put more gray zones in there. And also, I'd say actually most of my growth hasn't even necessarily been on a certain ideological, this is how I think will improve the world, but more willingness to try to understand the other side and where left-wingers and progressives are coming from. And I think that's something that the right really fail on. It's funny, that's probably one of the biggest criticisms of the left that a lot of people would have is they don't understand the right at all. I think the right understand the left more than the left understand the right, but the right still don't. They're still very bad at talking to the left. Like, one of the worst policies, I think, not policies, but approaches the right ever took to politics was to suggest that no young people go to university and you should not be involved in the arts. The arts are stupid. Like, don't get any degrees. Don't learn how to create poetry or movies. That's all dumb, like, culture stuff. Go just become a woodworker. Great. We need woodworkers, obviously. But then, of course, the left are going to dominate the cultural and arts sphere. Like, duh. And that's how so many people communicate with the world. That's that classic Stalin quote, one death is a tragedy, a million is a statistic. People have to be able to connect to events and data and information in order to actually act on them and have them be meaningful. You have to have movies and stories and songs that tell you why you have to care about things, unfortunately. Like maybe all of the extremely, just kind of autistic, and I don't say that as an insult, just kind of, mathematically minded people that are right wing wouldn't understand why you would need art or a movie to care about a political issue, but a lot of people do, and that's just a reality. And if you don't learn how to engage with the world that way, then you're going to fail at explaining complex and important ideas to a lot of the world.
I feel like
I don't know if
the
that makes
right
sense.
is actually better at like anecdotes that connect to people on a personal level than the left is. The left tends
Really?
to heavily focus on like data for their arguments more so than the right does. I don't know.
That's only recent. I don't know.
That's true.
I feel like that's recent. Whereas a lot, like the last 10 years, the left have completely dominated the art sphere when it comes to movies, music, emotion, having emotional arguments. This is hate. We need to get rid of hate. We need to have love. Like that has been their messaging. Whereas conservatives for the last 10 years have been like, facts don't care about your feelings. It's only the last 2 years that I've really recognized like this debate bro sphere where I remember being shocked to come across someone like Rose Wrist, who he's literally just like data nerd that's like a left winger. That used to be something that was really only a right wing online sphere, factor. But it's shifted things up in a way that's interesting because there's so many right wingers that won't debate the left now. I feel like maybe there's more that like you have CTV and stuff, but a lot of big right wingers are not engaging with left wing creators. And maybe that's because left wingers just deplatform them. I don't know, Destiny, you'd have to tell me. But like if Steven Crowder invited Vosh on, would Vosh go on his show or would Crowder dodge him? I don't know.
I feel like it's the latter. And by the way, just as a quick note, when you did mention him, the lovable, fantastic, beautiful, wonderful, critically thinking veteran did say that he'd rated into you twice and you were yet to follow him, and he was upsetty spaghetti.
Oh my goodness. I literally just don't understand how this website works. I was actually watching his stream. And I was watching, was he on here earlier?
He was hanging out in chat, yeah.
Yeah. No, I literally, that's so funny. I just don't understand how this website works.
CTV always comes on for the after hours stuff, so.
I've just followed him.
Okay.
He also,
there you go, CTV, you owe me one, buddy.
About him, but I don't know what we were supposed
Everyone
to ask,
send love
do
to critically thinking veteran.
But yeah, like, I would probably agree that it's like almost certainly the latter, that like us lefties have gotten a very, very significant hang on the idea of like debate, right? And I don't think that like everything has to, like, I specifically advocate, and again, I'm just like a smaller creator, like I'm not like some guy, right? But I'd rather have like content like this where we just fucking hang out and drink and chat and talk about our differences and have like a normal fucking conversation. Because realistically, this is how most people engage, again, in politics. They just talk about it. Most shit isn't screaming matches. Most shit isn't like you know, spit facts. Yeah. I was trying not to, okay? I was trying really hard not to.
I saw that effort.
But the idea here is that like it's again, I think that like data like thing has even leaked into that kind of conversation, that it's not just an online thing, that like most people here are like even think about the way we engage with like coronavirus, for example, right? Is it's like people will have citations on hand for talking to their family members about these things. I feel like we've just gotten more as society's become more online. Academia has also gotten significantly better at becoming more online, and
it is more online, but that's not necessarily a good thing. I feel like academia, if you don't know how to read data, like you can come up with the most wild conclusions from a study that have nothing to do with what the study was actually trying to describe.
I can go on Google Scholar.
I don't know. I feel like a lot of people misread data.
Honestly,
that's the that's usually the problem with the meme when you have people take data sets from data, because it's Australian, data sets from studies, or take findings from studies and take them outside of the context of that study, right? Yeah. And this happens like a lot on like, and I'll play centrist here. It happens a lot on both sides.
Yep.
Instead of like
everyone you can literally have people using the same study to support opposite arguments just because of the way they've decided to interpret it.
Okay, I love all of you so much.
All right,
are you going to, is it Betty Bye times?
It's on the East Coast for me.
Night. Okay. Oh, I forgot. Wow, you're up late.
Yeah, it's 4 a.m. for me. Okay.
Jeez.
Thank you so much for being here. It's almost entirely your audience here, so I probably don't need to shout you out.
No, you're good. That's cool. Well, listen, I appreciate it. Okay, listen.
Nobody knows.
No, I appreciate you. I hope you enjoyed the time here.
I did. I was going to DoorDash alcohol, but they stopped serving at 12 here, so that's why I didn't.
I messaged you like weeks ago. We spoke about.
I know, but things happened. Okay. Originally, I was planning on doing this yesterday because
that's true.
12 a.m. You gave me a weird thing. And then I was like, oh, okay, well, I'll be able to order something before. And then it was tonight, but then I had my gym stuff today and it mind fucked me. But next time, okay, I'm going to bring... The problem is that I'm really boring on alcohol.
It's incredibly trad of you to have no alcohol in your house. That's just like on hand.
Well, I just moved here, okay? I have a lot of other drugs if you want to party, but...
Yeah,
we've had guests go on drugs here, to be clear.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, the problem is that when I'm out drunk or on any drugs, I'm just like very nice and positive to everybody. So it's like not a good experience.
That's what I want to see.
That's the point.
That's not what you want to say, okay? I need to be sharp and ready to stab you motherfuckers. You see dumb shit. Okay, I love you guys. It's been fun. Next time, I'll be more...
I hope you enjoyed your time, and that you're more than welcome to come back, obviously.
Yeah, it was okay. Thank you, all of you, Spectre. Don't let these guys bully you, okay? Because they're both big bullies. All right.
Yeah, it's about to get bad in here, Spectre.
Can you do me one big favor, Spectre?
Fix my mic before we talk next? What's up?
Can you just say, I don't want it? Okay, good night, guys.